Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Three in the Keystone. I'm Adam Seltzer, alongside Chris Guest, who's back from a 1 week hiatus, as well as Al Ryan, aka Vin the Insider.
It has been revealed.
Don't say that dude's name on here.
Well, you know why I'm calling him that, don't you?
Who, Vin the Insider?
No, Al. Why you know why I'm calling Al that?
No, guess
that was his source.
No, yeah, Al posted something on Instagram yesterday about Paul Reed not coming back, and his source was Vin the Insider.
Oh
It's
no,
completely wrong.
That's a violation, bro.
Seltzer's. It might be, it might not be. It just said sources say. That's all it said.
Nah,
there was only one source who said it.
Yeah, his sources are his left and right hands. By the way, I have to apologize to my in-laws for the disrespect that they had to endure through the beginning of the segment last week.
They listened?
Yeah, they do actually sometimes.
What did we say?
They give you a hard time for seeing them.
Well, that wasn't disrespect towards them.
Yeah,
I got to go out of state. You guys are down the street. I got to go out of state.
They were probably asleep by the time we were recording anyway.
No. Not quite, almost.
Well, we apologize to Sarah's parents there for insulting them by wanting Chris to be a part of our first birthday party as a podcast.
Well, so I will say happy belated to the two of you for our 1 year that we've made. Also, in light of tonight's home run derby, 53, Bobby Abreu.
That's it.
Got to go BA.
The only one.
Yep, for sure.
2,000 home runs in one round.
Yeah, it was never
been a home run again.
Fate would have it that our 53rd episode would be on the home run derby night. That's just the way Bobby wanted it. The best Bobby Abreu line I've ever heard, and I've said this to you guys before, is when Bobby Abreu got put in the Phillies Wall of Fame, somebody goes, "That's the closest Bobby's ever been to the wall."
Oh yeah,
because of his lack of defensive effort.
Well, I remember something. You probably remember this. Al, you might this was, I guess, maybe 02, 03, something like that. It was last game of the year. They were in Florida. And game didn't mean anything at that point. But somebody, I forget who it was, hit a pop-up to right field, and he pretended that he couldn't see it. And he screwed over the guy on base because the base runner thought he couldn't. It was in the lights, he couldn't see it, and he ran. And he's like, and Bobby caught it, and then Harry Callis is like, "Oh, Bobby knew we had it the whole time."
Harry the K, baby.
Did you guys see somebody posted the clip of the introductions? I think it was from 2013, and they posted it because Cliff Lee looked so pissed.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
But did you see who was right before him representing the Phillies in the All-Star game?
No.
Wait a minute. That was what, 2013?
Oh, yeah. I did see it.
Oh, Dominic
Name
Brown,
some of these names for later, dude. No spoilers.
I couldn't believe it. I totally.
Dude, he
was Babe Ruth that May.
I would say he was like Griffey for that part of the season.
Unreal.
That man being Dominic Brown.
We really thought that he might be the next Griffey at that point.
Before I want to pivot here, before we get into sports, I know we're going to talk. We're going to open up with the Sixers here. I want to ask you guys a quick pop culture question. I'll try to make this a semi-regular thing if I can come up with one. But in just about 2 weeks now, about a week and a half, on Friday, July 21st, we have the two summer blockbusters are going to be released in the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer. And Jackson, actually, the Barbie movie was there was a commercial on it tonight, and my son Jackson turns to me and says, "Dad, I'm not going to lie, it actually looks pretty funny." I said, "I'm not going to lie, it looks pretty funny, dude." Like I agree.
I'll go ahead.
My question for you guys though is, which do you think has the bigger weekend in the box office, Barbie or Oppenheimer? Give me like a minute. What do you got here?
Go ahead, Chris. You're the movie guy.
No. Well, Barbie actually is legitimately getting critic acclamation. Greta Gerwig, who directed what was that movie? A couple years ago, she got nominated for an Oscar. She also got nominated for Little Women too, for Little Women remake. But she made oh my god, I'm going blank right now on anyway. So she's got some clout in Hollywood. Apparently, from the early reviews, it is actually legit. The way that they spin the plot, it's not just like a popcorny like Barbie movie. It's actually got some substance to it. But Chris Nolan's my guy. I'll be there. Like, I mean, I'm actually reading Oppenheimer's biography, the one that they based the movie off of, and he was probably one of the most underrated, untalked about, crazy stories in American history, really globally in international history, really, because obviously the atomic bomb affected everybody. Ultimately, to answer your question, I would say Barbie.
Adam?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Barbie just appeals to a wider range of folks than Oppenheimer, especially, kids. How you mentioned it, Jackson was interested in it, so I'm sure that it's going to speak to the kids when Oppenheimer may not necessarily do so.
It's probably the odds would probably have Oppenheimer getting like 30 mil because the latest projections are that Barbie's going to open to around 55 and Oppenheimer's going to open between 30 and 35. But the big difference here is that Barbie's PG-13 and Oppenheimer's rated R. And historically rated R movies don't do as well because they can't.
Right. I think that this is going to be Nolan's Oscar, though, finally. I really do. Hollywood loves biopics and they love history. And you're going to get two like combined in one movie from, in my opinion, the best director that's in the game right now. I think that this might be the year for him. He's only been nominated, I think, once or twice for an Oscar. So I think, and he probably should have been nominated at least 4 times, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Barbie's brilliant though in their like tagline for their trailer. The latest one, it's like, if you're a fan of Barbie, you'll love this movie. But it also says if you're not a fan of Barbie, you'll love this movie. And I think that goes to the pitch that it's not what you think it is.
So the question: Are you going to take your son to see Barbie?
I am not. No, I go to the movies once, maybe every 2 years, and it's not going to be for Barbie. I'll tell you that. It would be for Oppenheimer. I'm a Nolan guy, but I feel like he had some bombs though the last few movies, Chris. After Inception, Dark Knight Rises, with Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Tenet. I feel like none of those really did that well.
So in the box office, not too well, but there was a couple of reasons why. But as far as longevity, Interstellar's on all the time now. Dunkirk's not on as much, but that's probably his most artistic, like visually stunning movie. That was the one I believe he was nominated for an Oscar, but he didn't win. And then Tenet was during the pandemic. They tried to re-release, a blockbuster back into the theaters, and it was just too early. People weren't ready. I was there. I literally saw it twice in the movie theater, and first time I was by myself. Second time was with my wife, and there was 2 other people in the theater, and that was it.
Yeah.
So that was just a bad time for them. Tenet's an awesome movie. If you haven't seen it, it's awesome. You got to watch it like all his other ones, like 2 or 3 times, but it's really good.
Right.
I'm looking forward to Oppenheimer.
If you're listening and you go see Barbie or you see Oppenheimer, let us know. Give us your review.
But speaking of movies, boys, this Sixers offseason is a little bit of a horror story. We've talked 2 or 3 times in regards to what's going on, but it seems like there's different stories every week. Let's start at the whiteout party.
I still got my stuff on. I ain't changed yet.
Michael Rubin throws his annual July 4th whiteout party. James Harden, who has requested the trade from the Sixers, is in attendance. Plenty of pictures and social media posts going around with him and Joel and Tobias and Tyrese Maxey, among others. And listen, everything looks all peachy clean. We haven't heard a lick of trade rumors in probably a week and a half. Are we starting this season with James Harden on the Sixers?
Yeah. I said it last week that we're going to. And it's not that we forget, but it's impossible to always mention the human element when we talk about sports. But each year, only one team wins their league's championship. And to everyone, it's not do or die whether they win it or not. It just simply isn't. If my school gave out a best teacher in the building award, yes, I would win it. And I wouldn't expect all of my colleagues to suddenly want to change subjects or grades or buildings or throw this person under the bus or that because it just is what it is. Only one person would win it. Only one team wins the NBA title. So these guys are still friends at the end of the day. What are we expecting to hate each other because they lost in the second round of the Celtics? Like, that's ridiculous. It has nothing to do with on the court.
Well, and Joel and Tatum work out I mean, at least they were in the past. They work out all the time together through all their rivalries and everything else. So you're right. I mean, these guys, it's they are able to forget about on the court rivalries and things like that quickly once they get off the court, way more, quicker than fans do. But that party, by the way, so Maxey was probably a total jobber. No one probably knew who he was.
Yeah.
And Tobias was probably the guy that was from the Dorito or the Cheetos commercial. Or what is he doing? Goldfish. He's probably the guy from the Goldfish commercials. And Tom Brady's in corners with Kim Kardashian. Like all kind of stuff was going down at this place. Like to be a fly on the wall at this party would have been fantastic. Who knows what happened?
Yeah, we're going to do tiers of quarterbacks later on, but do you think if we did tiers of celebrity at that party, Tyrese is in the lowest tier?
Oh, he's
not the lowest. There's got to be lower.
Who's lower than he's not even an NBA star yet.
No, but Seltzer, there's definitely like there were jobbers there that just are like nobodies. But I'm talking about as far as any celebrity that was there. Is he in the lowest tier of celebrity? He's
down there. I don't know about the lowest, but I need to see a guest list.
I'll try and look it up while you guys.
You know what? You know what's crazy though, and this is just again we talk all the time about the size of NBA players. Tyrese gets a picture next to Micah Parsons, and he's the same size as Micah Parsons.
Well, height wise,
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, among all attendees who were anatomically male, Tyrese Maxey is the bottom of the barrel at that party. There's no doubt in my mind. Anybody that wasn't known there was probably. I want to show some respect for Tyrese. No, I'm saying how crazy that party was. It had nothing to do with him.
All right,
I don't know who Jonathan Cheban, Corey Gamble. I don't know who they are. I'm sure they're like big TikTok people or something though. So I don't
agents or something like that.
Yeah.
Here's the concern: if James Harden returns to Philadelphia, are we going to get the tanked out James Harden, or are we going to get a guy who's going to try and play for another contract next year? What are we getting if James Harden is suiting up for this team opening night 2023?
Well, I was arguing with someone that same question the other day, and there's no, unless he's a complete idiot, there's no way you're getting that previous Harden from Houston that dogged it to get out, because the situation's different. The game has changed. The stakes are higher. He is a free agent after this year. He wasn't previously. A lot more is on the line for him. He's another year older. And I feel like he has to ball out if he wants to make anything close to that money he thinks he deserves. He has to play, and he has to play well. There's no world where it's smart for him to dog it or not play well to get out. At this point in the game, it makes zero sense for him.
James Harden's going to be 34 years old when this season starts. The amount of emphasis that we're placing on James Harden it's ridiculous. This is Joel Embiid's team. It has so little to do with James Harden at the end of the day, whether or not this team is successful and whether they win an NBA championship. James Harden is James Harden. He is who he is at this point. We know what we're getting. It's can Joel Embiid maintain his level of play that he puts together in the regular season in the playoffs? Because
Joel should be able to win. He told us him and James can't do it alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if I agree with you, Al. There always has to be a second banana.
Yeah.
And James Harden's still that guy until Tyrese Maxey takes it from him. And he didn't do that last year. So, I mean, again, you look at Denver. Jokic was a man beast, but Jamal Murray was there. He was the number 2, and Jamal Murray was unbelievable in the playoffs. So to say that, again, we both agree that Joel needs to be the guy. You still need a second banana to bring you along when it comes to the end of the day. And, we saw James do it twice, but 5 times he failed in that Boston series. So I don't agree that he just doesn't matter. He does matter.
No, but he doesn't matter to the degree in which he's being discussed. I mean, it's almost like life or death, whether or not this guy stays on the team or whether he leaves or whether he's able to change his style of play. It is Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey has to be the guy that steps up and grabs that number 2 spot and becomes the Jamal Murray to Joel Embiid's Nikola Jokic. James Harden has to fall back into that third man role. It's simple as that.
I don't think Tyrese can flourish into that role with James here. James is too ball dominant. And again, does James create looks for Tyrese? Does he create threes for Tyrese? Yes. But at the end of the day, when James Harden is ball, dribble, 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 I don't think that allows Tyrese to step into that role where he can be that second banana because James has the ball for too much.
Well,
No, I
well,
agree.
this is why we brought Nick Nurse in, right? Nick Nurse has to solve these problems. That's why we brought him in.
Oh, and
Nope.
that's a great point, Alan. That could be the big acquisition of this summer is the coach. You know, as much as we hate to admit it or don't want to think about it in that light because of how bad game 7 was, we were a few minutes away from the conference finals in game 6. And maybe a better coach that's more in tune with adjustments and things like that is able to get them over that hump. But I do think that Harden, based on the role he has currently and the way he plays the game, he has to be a number 1 or 2 on your team because of how he plays. I mean, Seltzer, I agree 100%. Maxey probably won't hit his ceiling as long as James Harden's on his team because he won't have enough opportunities because Harden dribbles the air out the ball.
And here's the thing again, we're talking, can Nick Nurse make these changes? At the end of the day, if James Harden is coming back, he's not coming back happy. That's first and foremost. Maybe he gets over it. But okay, now he's back, and now we're saying, James, we're taking the ball out of your hands. Like, how do you think that's going to go over with him?
So what do you think he's unhappy? Like, you mean at the Sixers directly unhappy, or you mean just the situation in general? Because
Again,
it's
we
not
touched
all,
a
I mean,
little
the
bit on
Sixers.
it last week. I think he had a wink wink with Morey at the end of when he signed last year, taking less money. We'll take care of you next year. And then he goes out and kind of shits the bed in the playoffs. And there's no market for him. There's no competition out there for him.
No.
So all that money that he thought he was going to get, now he's not getting. So he's pissed off because I think there was a wink wink deal, and Daryl's kind of like, well, I don't have to pay you what I thought I had to pay you.
Well, and I think also Al had said it last week about ownership maybe having stepped in and said, listen to Daryl, we can't we're not co-signing on giving this guy a max extension or even an extension period. And Morey may have wanted to and been overridden by management. We don't know. But I agree, though. I don't think he had a market. I think that the only reason why he accepted to opt in is because he had literally nowhere else to go. And if it was anywhere else, it was probably for the years he wanted, but not the annual value. And it was probably for an inferior team.
Right. So by opting in and demanding a trade, he can kind of direct himself where he wants to go a little bit.
We are where we are. If James Harden is going to pull the shit that we're used to him pulling, that we've seen him pull 3 times before, then we're stuck. There's nothing we can do at this point. So we just have to hope that we just have to sit here and hope that A, he's playing with guys that he likes, right? And B, he's finally getting to the point in his career where he's maturing a little bit and saying to himself, okay, this is probably my last best chance to A, win an NBA title, if it means that much to him, and cement his legacy as one of the best players of all time. And B, possibly get paid one more time because I'm a free agent next year, whatever happens, if I get traded or not. So that's it. The ball's in his hands, man, as he loves having it there. So
And look, I think he feels a little salty. Like, he obviously was the one, or his party, leaking the rumors about him going back to Houston. And then Houston's basically like, we'd rather give $43 million a year to Fred VanVleet. Right?
Yeah.
Well, and also they pivoted and drafted a guy who can play at 19 years old that they can build around at that same position,
Right.
and Amin Thompson. So I think that was a big part, and that would have expedited their rebuild process by having a guy like Harden on the team for a year or two. But they don't need. I mean, they're not winning with him or without him, so they might as well save their money and put it towards something else.
Right. Let's get into some of the other signings this past week. So the Sixers have added 2 players, I guess we could say, in Pat Beverly and Mo Bamba. And then the 2 that end up coming back that I don't know if either of us saw coming. Paul Reed, they drag it out to the last minute despite Dan Ainge's, brilliant contract that he put in place to try and steal him away from the Sixers. And Montrezl Harrell is back.
Well, I think that was a move to appease Harden, because Harden apparently is boys with Harrell. So I'm wondering if that was an attempt to have him be happy and comfortable to stay here if they can't trade him.
Now we just have 4 centers.
No, it's not. Well, I mean, but maybe Paul plays the 4 with a Nick Nurse system. Maybe he kind of converts him into a long, lanky 4. Like we know he likes those kind of guys.
So looking at the roster now, here are the guys under contract, and that's just where Chris, I'm agreeing with you. Like that has to be part of the plan because right now, here's who's under contract. These are the guards: Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, DeAnthony Melton, Jaden Springer, Patrick Beverly, Furkan Korkmaz. Then at the center position, you have Embiid, Bamba, Harrell, and let's say Reed for the time being. And then the only forwards under contract are Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, and Daniel House. That's it.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
they have no other forwards.
Reed has to be playing the 4 then, and you just keep sliding Tobias down to the 3. That's the only.
Or Daryl's going all in on a trade that's pending that he feels like he's going to be able to satisfy various roles with that deal whenever, if ever it's made. But again, if it's not, this is this is what we're going in with.
And I mean, there's a couple roster spots available, and like Kelly Oubre is still out there. Not that I don't really love Kelly
He's a
Oubre,
loser.
but that's the kind of guy you're looking at this point.
TJ Warren.
Yeah, I'm just
Kevin Knox.
Oh my God.
I'm just not sure the direction that this offseason and where again you're looking at it as almost like a run it back, but then they let go 3 guys. You know, obviously bringing Paul back I think was important, but again Niang, McDaniels, Milton, they all walk for relatively cheap. I mean, Shake was going to leave regardless. The McDaniels one is the one that kind of $4 million a year for Jalen McDaniels. Like I don't understand why we're not matching that at that point.
I don't either, but I will say this to play devil's advocate. The flack of letting these guys walk. Who that we let walk was going to be a pivotal player or make or break on this team this coming year. McDaniels is, and I was the guy. I mean, I probably liked them the most out of the 3 of us, and I would have liked to have kept him, but I didn't lose sleep over him going to Toronto. Obviously, you know how I feel about Niang. And who's the other one we said earlier? Oh, Shake.
But Shake was gone.
Shake's a nice player, but he's not. I mean, we've talked before. He's better. He will be better, and he will be good at Minnesota. He'll be better with a team where he can be on the ball at some point with a second unit, and I think he can do well there. But he wouldn't have done it here.
I think here's more my point, and it's not necessarily about the name Jalen McDaniels. Being a general manager in this league, you have to have foresight, and you have to see the way things are going to develop moving forward.
Absolutely.
And I just don't see the foresight. Like when we make that deal last February, the idea is that we're bringing in this young guy and to give him an opportunity to play. And it's February. You're trying to win a championship. It's hard to make him mesh into the system, but you had to have seen something to be willing to make that move. So at that price point, I just don't understand why you're not going to say, all right, we're going to give this guy a full season. And yet, is he going to be a difference maker come playoff time? No, but guess what? In the regular season, I need guys to eat minutes. I need when somebody's hurt. We've saw Jalen McDaniels step in as a starter a game or 2 last year and played 30 minutes, and he was okay. He was good enough. And you need guys like that in the regular season to take away those minutes and that workload as we move forward. Come the playoffs, like look at Denver at the end of come the finals. Denver was playing 7 guys. I don't need, my 8th, 9th guy. I need them for regular season minutes. And I just don't see when we're making these moves, the foresight and looking ahead and then just nothing becoming of it. Does that make sense?
And you would have thought that McDaniels would definitely be a Nick Nurse kind of player, and they didn't keep him. That to me screams that the scouts and the coaching staff, the group that's there, saw something or whether it be on tape or with him as a person in practice, something didn't gel right where they felt comfortable with walking away from him and cutting bait. And I don't know what it was, because I think the guy was okay. He's young. He could grow still. I'm not losing sleep over losing him, but at the same time, I feel like he was an okay guy to have. At least a rotational piece. I mean, he's long. He can do different things. He can, defend on off switches, things like that. They got 2 compensatory picks from 2nd-round picks, right? From losing him, I believe.
I'm not sure. Al was not. He said yes.
I think so.
I'm almost positive. I mean, they're obviously 2nd-round picks, but they may have thought that was more valuable at this point in time than adding salary at that position. they may also know that there might be a backlog coming based on a move that's pending. Who knows?
Well, they have the mid-level exception still.
Yeah, for like
Right.
5 million, the taxpayer one.
Right. So is there someone potentially they can get on the cheap?
I think
That,
that's
that,
what I
could be,
told.
that could be exactly what you said, Adam, just a minutes eater, nothing more.
I think that's when you're looking at like a Kelly Oubre. That's the kind of
I don't
guy.
think he goes for 5. I could see Warren going for 5. I don't know about Oubre.
I don't know.
Or
I think at
Kevin
this point in the
Knox.
offseason, Chris, I think anybody
Listen.
who's still out there is a $5 million or less guy.
Kevin Knox claim to fame is when Zion ate him in the summer league and just took the ball literally out of his hands and then dunked on him. That was his claim to fame.
What about
Guys made a shot since.
what about this guy? What about a Lindy Waters the third?
I don't even know who that
From
is.
the Oklahoma City.
And by the way, our a friend of the pod, our boy Jock Landale, who was mentioned previously, got 8 million. Now we should have known better. If he got 8 million, that Paul was going to at least get that.
Thank God. I was ready to rant if they would not bring Paul back. That would have been such a mistake from this group.
Do you think
And
that
just
was
such a sign that they weren't going to spend money. What'd
Do
you
you
say?
know his gamesmanship to wait that long for Morey to wait that long for Ainge to know that he didn't get his guy?
Yeah,
they didn't do it until like 11 o'clock.
I think you got to know, like, it's unless they're having discussions that late, but I would think it was a shot at Ainge. The Ainge contract was
It was
genius.
blatant slap in the face.
It was a slap in the face. But it was smart because Utah wouldn't have had to guarantee the last 2 years of that contract.
And see, to me, reading between the lines of that tells me between that offer sheet and his apparent lack of other offers elsewhere that we thought he might get, I think we overvalue Paul Reed. I feel like they weren't even ready fully to invest 3 guaranteed years in him. They were literally just ready to give him next year, and they knew they weren't going to probably make the second round of the playoffs.
But Chris,
so that would have made him be available after year 1 to be dropped, for lack of a, I guess, better, more precise term, but basically let go after this year.
yeah,
So that's not a lot of faith in a guy.
But it's not about, again, it's not about the name Paul Reed. It's about the fact that, again, this team has burned a bunch of draft picks. I mean, they lose 2 second-round picks for tampering with Daniel House and PJ Tucker. Like somebody was in a rush to get signed Daniel House. And then they actually draft a couple of good second-round picks in Isaiah Joe and Paul Reed and Charles Bassey, who will be determined. And they end up losing these guys for nothing. That was more of what the issue was. They lost Isaiah Joe last year so that they could sign Montrezl Harrell. And again, Isaiah Joe, at the end of the day, are we losing sleep over losing him? No, but you can't keep losing these second-round picks that are actually rotational players for nothing.
Especially when you have guys at the top of your food chain that are expensive and you need cheap guys that can produce. So you need to develop them and be able to have them contribute.
And look, we can knock Paul Reed all we want because he has a lot of flaws in his game. But at the end of the day, the last 2 years in the playoffs, he's been a rotational player in the playoffs for this team.
And he's been there for us.
The 4 most clutch free throws, potentially.
Right. He's been there for us.
And he's probably the best defender on the team 1 through 5, as far as switchability and being able to defend. So, I mean, I think it was important to bring him back. I'm glad that they did it. I would have had an all-time rant.
Do you guys think that he would have gotten that much if Utah didn't offer that to him?
No.
Because if your answer is no, do you think that a little bit of it is Danny Ainge just being kind of a petty asshole?
That's what I'm saying. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think his market value was probably 6 to 8 million. I was thinking probably 2 years, 14 million is what I thought originally. So he got a little bit more than that.
Teams weren't beating down the doors to sign him.
No, and not only
But
that.
here's the thing. I'm sorry, but restricted free agents always go later in the free agent market than the unrestricted because you have that waiting period that's kind of lock and see. Like Grant Williams was towards the end, Matisse was towards the end. Like the restricted free agents always go later.
But again, for Landale to get 8 million, and I mean I think Paul is better than Jock Landale. I don't know what world he deserves a 4-year, $32 million deal.
But I
Um,
think that was also similar to Paul's. I think the first year that's guaranteed. I don't think the other 3 years are guaranteed.
and Julian Champagny also, or Champagny, however you say it, 4 years from the Spurs is,
Summer League MVP.
dude. I can't imagine. I don't get it, but it ain't my money. Whatever.
A couple other names. Danny Green's still out there.
Yeah, he'll be out there.
Terrence Ross. Let me see if there's any power forwards available.
We got Dylan Windler from he was just on Cleveland.
Oh, Belmont, wasn't he? He's a Belmont guy, I think. And I remember him from the
You are correct.
Yeah.
Good pull by you there.
Derek Jones Jr., Carroll's finest.
Yeah, that screams Sixers.
Yeah.
Screams it.
Love it.
To do what, Dunk?
Yeah, because you know what? He would give you a reason to go to the pregame warm-ups.
I guess.
Either line.
I guess.
Guess
You don't do much else.
Guess you haven't mentioned. I know you've been adamant about bringing Pat Bev here for a while.
Dude, he's been a Sixer in my heart for at least 3 years. Already. I can't wait till the first time he does something so easy and makes it like it was the biggest, like in the first quarter of a game, just making a layup and just like going small with the defender or something on the court. I can't wait.
Billy's going to love him, and his podcast after he signed was hilarious. Like the only problem with Pat Bev
Who's
is
that guy he was with?
he's with it's a Barstool. He's a Barstool podcast. It's, this guy Roan, who's actually like a Delco dude too.
I was gonna say he's a Philly guy, right?
Yeah, he's a Philly dude.
That was hilarious.
Pat Bev is a nag. He's a good guy to have on your team. He's just not that good at basketball.
But I'm telling you, we're gonna love him.
Yeah, they
I'm
are.
telling you.
They are.
I want to live in Philly. I want to feel his face when his eyes got all big when he said it.
Yeah. And as the end when he was singing the song.
Did you see what he did? The first thing he did, he went to a pottery class.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're gonna love him.
He thinks I guess Roan works out in New York. So he's like, Roan, part of the reason I signed is I know it's only an hour ride to New York. I was like, oh, you got something coming, dude.
Yeah.
That ain't no hour
Unless
ride.
he's getting on the train.
It's an hour train ride. Yeah, hour Amtrak.
Yeah.
So we will see. Again, I think the roster at this point is pretty much settled unless something happens with Harden.
And for the record, too, I feel like I'm in the minority. I don't know if it's because of the situation with the Paul Reed thing and all that kind of stuff now, but I like Mo Bamba. I've always liked Bamba. I think he's all right. I'm not saying he's going to be a starter or nothing like that, but I mean, I think he's a nice little piece to have.
What is he? He's just a big dude. He doesn't do anything.
But he's worked on his he can shoot a little jumper now, but like before he came in the league, he couldn't do that. He's worked on his jumper. He can board. He can play a little defense. He's all right.
So here's where I'm at with Bamba. I actually watched a lot of Orlando because I'm a Magic guy. That's my number 2 team right now. He can shoot. There's no doubt. He can shoot and he can block shots. Problem is like his motor is it's like.
Well, that's the thing.
His non-existent.
Yeah. There's a lot of scouts that have said that they don't know how much he loves basketball. That's the issue with him.
There was a period of time last year where the Magic were starting Mo Wagner over him.
Yeah.
And that should just never be the case.
So we'll see. Maybe it was because he was on a losing team. I don't know. He's on a team that has been, a 50-win team now. Maybe he'll have that jam to be able to do well. I don't know.
Now think about this. We talked about Paul playing the 4. And I think it's a little clunky of a mix when you have Joel there because Joel works so far down low. But if Bamba's playing that pick and pop game where he's stepping out to the 3 line, that leaves Paul as the guy who can roam around under the basket in the dunker spot. I think Reed and Bamba could play together better than necessarily Reed and Embiid could play together.
Against who?
What do you mean against who?
Against Bismack Biyombo in February?
Well, defensively, they're fine. I'm talking regular season. I'm not talking.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's fine.
I mean, at least try it out and see how it is. I'm up for whatever. I mean, that could be a potential death lineup defensively. You have those two with Melton and Beverly. That might be pretty sick defensively.
That's like when me and Gilman used to be on the court together at Houston. No offensive prowess, just a bunch of boards and D.
They
Yeah.
need to get forwards. We need forwards. Like we can't be running PJ Tucker out there 34 minutes a night.
No, he's definitely going to take a step back in minutes. He has to.
Well, not when we only have PJ Tucker, Tobias Harris, and Daniel House. That's the only forwards we got on the roster.
We're going to see a lot of Daniel House this year, I think.
And again, House was there for us this year at the end. I mean, he's not. We're not like for $4 million. You could do worse than Daniel House.
Right now, if Tobias Harris gets hurt, we're screwed. There's just
We'll
nothing.
be saying that.
We might be dusting off Korkmaz for some minutes at the 3.
Oh my God!
Listen, Korkmaz is the. There's some analogies I can't say because I don't want people to think I'm a scumbag, but he's always there, even through thick and thin. You know, he ain't your number one, but he's always around.
There's never been a player who's demanded more trades and just gotten ignored than Furkan Korkmaz.
He's like Melton from Office Space. They're just like, yeah, just go back into your cubicle there. Well, we're gonna use your stapler.
Yeah, he's in the basement. He's in the bowels.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up segment 1?
I'm getting a little weirdly optimistic about the Sixers. I hate it.
You're buying back
I
in?
hate it. Yeah, I'm getting a little as the days go on. I'm getting more and more. I'm talking myself into this more and more. I just think it's because I'm forced to. Right? They're backed into a corner with everything that's happened, everything that's transpired. They've never really given Embiid a chance to actually gel with a number 2 other than Ben Simmons, and no one wants Harden or Tobias. So we're running it back. We have Nick Nurse. I don't know, man. I have to have faith.
Well, and I'm telling you, Harden's gonna have to play. He's gonna have to play well. He's gonna have to be there throughout the whole season, and especially the playoffs if he wants that bag. I mean, bottom line, he's got to play well. So the fat suit theories and all that. If he did all that kind of stuff, then he's even more of a dope than people think he is, because that doesn't do him any favors.
Chris, what's the status of the season tickets?
Actually, my rep called me yesterday. Right now I'm still waiting to see. But Al, I'm in the same boat as you at this point. With the Harden, even if he stays, I keep thinking like he's going to play. He's got to play well, and even if he doesn't, the money's off the books, and you can go after Jaylen Brown in the summer and see what happens.
Jaylen Brown's going to reach.
Jaylen Brown, listen, Jaylen Brown with this team is the perfect fit.
Here's the problem with saving all your money in free agency is free agency doesn't happen anymore because of what we talked about last week with these players being able to demand whatever they want to. What they do is Damian Lillard signs the max extension with the Blazers so he gets his money, and then a year later says, trade me here. So like these great players, again, Jaylen Brown could very well sign with Boston, play a year, and then say, trade me. And these teams have their hands tied. Until that changes, I don't see, when was the last time like a star player changed teams in free agency?
I guess Durant.
Yeah, well, that was 2018. That was 5 years ago. Like the best guy this year was like Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
And
Chris, I'll say this too. I got my eyes on DeJounte Murray.
He just re-signed. He just signed an extension. Yeah, he signed an extension with Atlanta.
Was that today? Earlier today?
Nah, probably like 4 or 5 days ago. It was like $30 million a year.
Hey, let's edit that out.
Yeah. Vin didn't drop that story.
Moving on to segment 2. What do we got?
But we're gonna jump into segment 2. We're gonna switch things up a little bit this week. We're gonna play a trivia game in segment 2 rather than in segment 3 because of time frame. We have Liam Divon coming on to ask us some questions about previous all-star teams for baseball, basketball, and football. So we'll have a little trivia contest next. We'll be right back. Welcome back to segment 2. As everyone's aware, we are at the all-star break for Major League Baseball, and we thought it would be a good idea to test our knowledge of all-stars. So we brought on Liam to host a game that's going to be shootout style, where Liam's going to give us a team, and we are going to name all-stars of the past. Each sport, we have basketball, we have football, we have baseball. We're going to have a little bit of a different style. And we're also going to have lifelines. So the lifelines will be the opportunity to double your points. it will either be to get initials for a player, or the other one's going to be able to get positions and the year they played for a team. So the lifelines are available as well.
And if this is your first time listening to a trivia contest hosted by Liam, his questions are notoriously hard as shit. So if you're playing along
JJ
at home,
Hickson.
if you're playing along at home, don't be embarrassed if you don't do too well, because you'll probably do better than me.
I did put on the text thread, I said keep it to a 5 out of 10, difficulty wise.
Didn't you tell him that the last time too, when he was naming like Mark Lemke?
Yo,
Like, what
that could be
college
an
did
answer
Mark
later
Lemke-
on, maybe. Is
What
Lemke an
college-
all-star?
What pick was Mark Lemke drafted?
What high
Alright.
school did Mark Lemke go to out of the
So
draft?
for the first one, we'll go Al, Chris, me for the first one, and then we'll rotate it as the teams come through. So Liam, why don't you hit us with the first team?
Give us the odds. Give us the Vegas odds before you do that.
Vegas odds, I'm probably minus 250. Chris plus 17, no,
I
plus
don't know, dude. I don't.
plus 400. Al plus 500.
Oh, dude, this is a mortgage bet on you, Seltzer. At minus 250.
Wait, yeah. What did you put yourself at?
Yeah, I should probably
250?
I should probably be like minus 750.
Oh well, that
That's
point.
still. I would have had me at like plus 2,000. All right, Liam, let's go.
Okay. 1999 and 2000 doesn't count, right?
It depends on how many all-stars there are, but ideally from 2000 on is what we're going with.
Okay. And then does this year's all-stars count?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay. For baseball, I was really saying the guys who are gonna be in it. All right, that's fine. Well, that's gonna make this one kind of easier because first team, you ready?
Yep.
Atlanta Braves.
Greg Maddux.
Okay, so we're going from 2000 on for the Braves. So Maddox is off the board.
All right. John Smoltz.
That's good, Liam.
Greg Maddux is good. He was an all-star in 2000. John Smoltz was an all-star before 2000 as well. So 2 yeses.
I was gonna say.
I'll go Chipper Jones.
Correct.
Who's the dude right now that they have that's raking? Oh man,
Played him in the playoffs last year.
I don't know his name, dude. Is it Ozuna? Is that his name? Is it Escobar? Pablo Escobar? Oh, Kimbrel.
Craig
That's-
Kimbrell's correct.
I think the guy Al was thinking of was that Austin Riley.
No, I know who I'm thinking of. Don't say it, Seltzer.
Austin Riley's correct this year and last year.
Oh, I know.
I'll go with Chipper's brother, Andrew Jones.
Correct.
Is it Marcelo Ozuna? Is that his name?
I don't think he's been an all-star for them.
I don't know if he's
Marcelo
been
Zuna is not correct.
Damn it.
So you got
How about Ronald Acuna?
that's who you're thinking of.
Ronald Acuna is correct.
Okay, so back to me. I believe this year's shortstop is Orlando Arcia.
Correct. That's correct.
How about that Ozzy Albies?
I'm still in,
Ozzy
right?
Albies.
Yeah,
is
Al's
correct.
still in. So
Oh, that's
yeah.
right. That's right. Okay.
How about
Okay.
that Ozzy Albies?
No, man, you got it. No.
Yeah, you jumped the line, guess.
All right, go
Okay,
ahead. All right.
I'll
all
say
right.
a different one, but if I get this wrong, it's BS. It was Edgar Renteria.
Oh, good one. Let me look.
Was he on the Braves?
He was
He
there
was
for
on
Edgar
a while.
Renteria is correct.
Oh,
That's
whoop.
a great pull.
Bust
Look at that
out.
goal.
All right, so then can I say Albies again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
All right.
All right, so back to me. How about Gary Sheffield? 2003-ish?
Gary Sheffield is correct.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say Kevin Millwood.
This is the last round for the Braves.
Kevin Millwood is not correct.
I don't even know if this guy. I feel like this guy played for the Braves, but I could be wrong. Is Mark Teixeira?
That's a good answer. I don't know how long he was there though.
Mark Teixeira is not correct. He got traded to them at the deadline. I don't know if he played.
Yeah,
I
I-
think only played a half season.
Yeah.
All right, I'll close it out with a guy who was there forever, kind of a Philly killer. Brian McCann.
Correct.
All right, so that's it. So I got 5 for me, 4 for Guest, and 3 for Al.
No one said Glavin. He had to have made it, right?
I thought that someone. I didn't know if someone. I thought someone said him.
I didn't say
This
Glavin.
franchise is awesome. They have so many good players, just and so many all-stars every year.
I can't believe I didn't. I
No.
should have just doubled there.
So many All-Stars, and I couldn't name 4.
You pulled out Millwood was a good guess. Marcelo Zuna was terrible.
I'm
I
almost.
know
I'm
you
almost
tried it.
tempted.
Ronald
Freddie
Acuña-
Freeman. No one said Freddie Freeman.
Oh.
Freddie Freeman. Yeah.
I'm almost tempted to do bust outs instead of all stars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice to get the bust out name.
Like
More
Bip
fun.
Roberts.
Michael
Can we-
Bourne
can we-
was an all-star for them one year.
Can we get Liam to give one person a double point for the best bust out of each
Yeah, the
round?
bust out might have to get in this.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so Adam wins that round.
Yeah, 5 to 4 to 3.
Okay. Next round, Chicago Cubs.
Okay, so we'll start with Guest. It'll go Guest, Al, then me.
Mark Pryor.
Correct.
I got to go with Sammy Sosa.
Correct.
Harry Wood.
Correct.
Forber.
Not correct.
Anthony Rizzo.
Correct.
John Lieber.
Not correct.
Oh, that's a good guess, though.
Dude, come on.
Oh, correct. Correct.
Oh, no, upon further review.
2001.
Who the hell's been on the Cubs? Shelton, you said Rizzo?
Rizzo's
yeah, I said Rizzo.
Yep, Adam has Rizzo.
Dude.
Remember, you got lifelines.
You use a
Yeah, give me a
lifeline.
lifeline. Give me a lifeline.
one?
Okay, what lifeline do you want?
Give me the
Initials?
what's the other one? Position and year?
Yeah.
Give me that one. Position and
Third baseman. 2008. He was an all-star in 08. He was an all-star in 05 and 05. Third base.
That's a good one. See, the lifeline can help other people too.
year.
Mm-hmm.
For the Cubs of third baseman. Why am I like forgetting this? So
I'll
he
give
was-
you the years he played for the team too. He may have not been all-star all these years, but he played for the team from 03 to 11.
Wow. He was a fixture in Wrigley.
Yeah, what the I guess I got to pass.
No, all right.
Do I get to tell him who it is? I
No,
feel
no,
like you
no,
guys
tell
are
him
unsure.
we're not
No.
going to take him.
Yeah,
That was
you-
at Aramis Ramirez.
Oh.
Correct.
Moises Alou.
Correct.
I'm going to answer. Back to Guest.
Yeah, I'm not a
Lifeline
Cub
number
guy.
2.
I'm not a Cub guy.
You want another lifeline?
Burn them all, guess.
Al's boy Kenny Lofton was on the Cubs, was he?
He was everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know if he was an all-star.
Wasn't an all-star.
No.
There's no, that can't be, is that your guess? That can't be correct.
Dude, I don't know any Cubs.
You want
Well,
a
good
lifeline?
Cubs.
You got to use a lifeline again.
Yeah, go ahead.
What
Just
this
burn-
one is
burn them all.
position and what is this position or just
No, this
initials?
is initials.
Do the initials, yeah.
JA.
Adonde.
Oh, I know that one now. Come on, Guest. That's got some hometown
Johnny Appleseed.
Is it Hap? J.A. Hap?
No.
Wait,
All
what
right.
about Ian Hap?
Ian Happ. Are you switching the guess?
Yeah.
Correct. Last
There you
year.
go.
Good pull. I'll go with that Carlos Zambrano.
Correct.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think we're going around. This is the last round, I think, here.
I think I'm out. I'm going to try here. Michael Barrett.
That's such a good answer. I think that was
I don't even know who that is.
he was the catcher.
That's the guy who punched the dude in the face.
Oh,
Brzezinski, maybe. Not correct.
Yeah, I forgot all about that dude.
So it's Chris is your last one.
Man.
Yeah, we would have gotten smoked if we only did baseball.
I don't know any Cubs, man. I realize this now with this game.
Giving up.
Let's
Yeah, I don't
pass.
care. Yeah, pass it. I don't care.
All right. I'll go Chris Bryant to close.
Correct.
And JA was former Phillies meatball thrower Jake Arrieta.
Yeah. Yes,
Cy Young
also
winner.
on this list. Notre Dame football love, Jeff Samardzija.
He was
Forgot he was there. Yeah.
was Corey Patterson on that list?
It's a good pull.
No, he's not here. Alfonso Soriano is, though.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Patterson was a base stealing machine.
Yeah, that's
He was on my Seltzer fantasy baseball league.
Derek Lee is also
Derek
on
Lee.
here.
I thought of. I just didn't get to him.
Yeah, he was good too.
So I
I remember him from the Marlins, though. Derek Lee.
Yeah,
Marlon Bird.
I would never have gotten that. Al, you had 4 there. I had, and then Chris with 2, and I had 5. So 10 to 7 to 6.
Well, wait a minute. Who had the biggest bust out, Liam? I'm going for it in these rounds.
Well, who did you say again?
I had John Lieber.
Yeah, so that wins. I'll give you the bonus point.
I always just picture like a fat white jolly dude when that name comes up.
He was,
Yeah, that was
our
the
star
were
free.
you giving a
signing.
bonus point out for like the most rare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
right, so
Who got
what's
it the
the score?
first round?
We did. It wasn't in play at that point, so we'll skip it for the first round. It was probably Orlando Arcia, to be honest with you, though.
It was 10. What's the score, Seltzer?
I got 10. You got 8. Chris got 6.
All right.
What's next, Liam?
The Philadelphia Phillies.
You can't get this.
All right, who's starting off?
Do we want to go more than 5 here? Because this should be. Should we go seven
if
rounds?
5
here?
is easy, it's going to go 5, and then it's going to go to an overtime round. So
Just keep going.
No.
Yeah, why not?
All right, well, let's go 7. Let's go 7 rounds here. All right,
okay, 7.
I'm first here. So let's.
All right.
go-
Wait. I'm going to use my double points here.
Oh yeah, double points for me too. Good call.
Yeah, same. We'll double
All
everybody.
right, everybody's doubling. All right, I'll start with. Let's go obvious. I'll go Jimmy Rollins.
Correct.
Let's go to Al.
Liam doesn't know about our conversation earlier. I'm going to go with Dominic Brown, Liam.
Correct.
That Chase Utley.
Correct.
Ryan Howard.
Correct.
Cole Hamels.
Correct.
Oh shit. Did Burrow make a play?
I don't know, did he?
All-Star game? I forget. I might have messed this up.
You can't ask. You just got to throw it out there.
I'm just spacing out right now. I'm tired.
Oh my God.
Kimbrel, Craig Kimbrel.
Jesus.
No.
Yeah, Kimbrel's on the team
He made
this
this
year.
now.
Oh, he's an all-star this. Okay.
Yeah, he
Okay,
made
got
it.
it.
Roy Halladay.
Correct.
Nicky Batts.
Correct.
Cliff Lee.
Correct.
Name we talked about earlier, Bobby Abreu.
Correct.
Jonathan Papelbon.
Correct.
Mike Lieberthal.
Correct. In 2000.
You're cutting it close there, guest. How about Jim Thome?
Correct.
Chooch.
Correct.
Ooh, Chooch made a team, huh?
One-time All-Star in 2012 when he was on the Adderall.
I'm gonna give you another 2000 guy, Kurt Schilling.
1999 was Schilling.
Woo. Trying to think if what trade came first. You ready for the bust out I've been holding in? I saw it on Twitter this morning. Pat Neshek. Fuck off.
Correct.
That's the winner for random.
Yeah.
How about that was my turn or Al's?
No, it's my turn. Doing here. Harper?
Correct.
How about Victorino?
Yeah, that was my
Correct.
next one. It's a good pull. How about did Raul Ibanez make the All-Star team the year he went crazy?
Correct.
All right, that's 7.
09.
So this is Al and Chris, your final guesses.
How about
Brad Lidge.
Correct.
how about Randy Wolf?
Correct.
All right. So I got Al with a perfect score of 14. I had 14 and Chris had 12 when we do the double ups. Liam, is Scott Rowland before 2000 or no?
Is this your
No,
Correct.
we're done. I'm just curious.
Scott Rowland? Yeah.
Yeah, he was I was in my
2002.
Gotcha. Any other big ones we forgot?
Oh, the round's over?
Yeah.
Billy
You want me to
Wagner.
name some of the players?
Yeah, give me some names.
JT, Odubel.
Double made an
Anyone-
all-star team?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
He was
right.
our one All-Star when we were terrible. Cliff Lee. Did anyone say Cliff Lee?
Yeah, we said Cliff Lee.
Polanco,
I thought about him.
Worth,
I thought about him too.
Flash Gordon, Rowan,
I thought about Rowan. I wasn't sure.
would.
Vincente Padilla.
I thought about Padilla.
You know what? Padilla was, I don't know if you remember this. Padilla was the pitcher when the All-Star game was the tie and he was pitching. And that's when they had to cancel it. Remember that? Because they didn't want those pitchers to throw like 3 innings. All right.
I think that's everyone. I think that's about it.
That was good work by us. The only one we missed, Chris Schilling, was a good guess. All right.
Oh,
so
Zach Wheeler.
All right, so it's 25, 22 to 18, right?
Nola.
All right, I gotta add this up here. Chris is 6 and 12, 18 for Chris, 22 for Al, and a perfect 24 for me. I can't get away from
Wait.
Al.
Also, Kimbrel, what? Kimbrel get in on injury replacement?
Yeah. Wait. Does Neshek win bust out?
Yeah, I think it does. I was going to give it to Flash Gordon if someone said him, but
Now, for the
Neshek's
record, does
pretty-
the bust out have to be an all-star though, or can it just be
Yeah.
any bust out?
No, it has to be because you're not getting a point for
I think it's funny to just have anybody.
Yeah, in those later rounds when I start throwing Mark Lemke around.
Yeah, I think that's funnier, to be honest with you.
all right, what's next, Liam?
Okay. We'll do Atlanta Hawks NBA. But the NBA, as I was saying to you guys off camera, there's only 8 total All-Stars here
From 2000 on, right?
from 2000 on.
All right, so we can go back then. If we go, let's just go to the history of the Hawks. If you pull somebody out from before that, good.
Did you have everybody?
Yeah, I got everyone.
I got a bust out for this.
All right, so we're gonna start with Chris, and it's gonna
Oh,
go.
is it me? Is it me? Don't I start?
Did you start with the Braves? Who went first for Braves?
Yeah, I started the Braves.
All right, so then it's you, Chris, me. My bad.
All right. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
I'm tempted to try and take I guess I'll try and take a Mookie Blaylock.
Let's be
Liam's
like,
doing his taxes while he's doing the game.
No,
Mookie- no
that's
Mookie?
correct. 93, 94. Well, some of these players like Mookie Blaylock, I don't know when he played, so I have to
Yeah.
go through the years.
Oh, you young boy.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
So we're going history of the Hawks. you
Yeah.
said? How about that Tree Rollins?
What
What
year's
years
that?
would he have?
Huh?
What years would he have played?
Out in the 80s.
In the 80s? Okay, cool. Give me a second.
I think he was probably like 84 or so for now.
Liam's
I
about to
remember
get
one time-
fired. We're about to just hire Siri or Alexa.
He wasn't ready for Tree Rollins.
No, not on there.
I'll go with that Dikembe Mutombo. Mid-90s.
Correct.
My boy, Jason Terry.
Not correct.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. How about Steve Smith?
Mid-90s.
Correct. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Correct.
I'll go Trey Young.
Correct.
Jeff Teague.
Correct.
How about Dominique?
Yeah.
Correct.
Kyle Korver.
Correct.
Hmm.
I'm just going to say bust outs. I don't care. I'm sabotaging the game.
Who was the damn it? Who was there?
You got lifelines.
That's true. All right, give me initials, Liam.
JJ.
Oh, Joe Johnson.
Correct.
Is it me?
Yeah.
How about he was the highest paid player at one point? How about John Koncak?
Oh my God.
That was an 80s guy, 80s or early 90s, Liam.
Was he a stiff?
Yeah, but he was at one point he randomly was like in the millions for his money, and I don't know why or how. So
I don't
figured he
see
must
him
have been
on here.
All-Star.
He stunk. Of course you don't see him on there.
There's
I'll
go
go
ahead.
Al Horford.
Oh,
Correct.
that was my next one, dude.
I got one.
That team had 4 All-Stars. I can't think of who the 4th one was.
I'm gonna
Spud
tell you.
Webb.
Spud Webb. I don't see him on here. No.
He was in the. I don't think he was an actual All-Star. He was in the.
I don't think so either.
How about that
He-
Josh Smith?
Damn.
That might have been the 4th guy. Oh, I don't know if it was actually.
Josh Smith had to be an all-star.
Not correct.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
Josh Smith never made an All-Star game?
Mm-mm.
I'll close it out. I think the 4th guy was Paul Millsap.
Correct.
Damn.
All right, that's the round. 5-3-2.
No one want to say Doc Rivers?
No. Dude, Koncak didn't make it?
Dude, was Stacey Augmon an All-Star? Early 90s?
The early 90s names are Dominique Wilkins, Kevin Willis, Dikembe, Leitner, Steve
Leighton?
Smith. That's about it.
All right.
And Mookie.
Dan Roundfield is on here a few times.
I don't know who that is.
They
Early
protect-
80s, late 70s.
No,
Sharif
it's not round.
Abdur Rahim.
It's not
Ooh.
Roundfield, it's Rollins, Tree Rollins. You're just reading it wrong.
Sharif Abdur Rahim. Millsap. Trey.
Abdur Rahim. Abdur Rahim.
Moses Malone one time.
That would have been a
John
good
Drew.
bust out.
Lou Hudson. Pistol Pete.
Hmm.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Wait, who's the bust
Oh,
out?
who's the bust out there? I think it's
I
gotta
think
be
the guy that Al said, that
Yeah,
dude,
Mookie.
That
Mookie
dude.
Blaylock.
Yeah, throw a little respect on Mookie Blaylock's name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was a
Mookie's the
steal.
man.
He was a steals guy.
He was a big steals guy.
All right,
All right, next is Boston Celtics.
we're going to history of the Celtics. All right, so it's
History, yeah.
starting with Chris.
Paul Pierce.
Correct.
Larry Bird.
Correct.
Ray Allen.
Correct.
Garnett.
Correct.
Kevin McHale.
Correct.
Jason Tatum.
Correct.
Antoine Walker.
Second. Correct.
Rajon Rondo.
Correct.
Wait, hold on. Guess who'd you say? I'm trying to write them down as we
Yeah,
say.
Antoine.
Antoine Walker. Is this the same as the Hawks were going for or the anytime?
Yeah, yeah, history.
How about that Kenny Anderson?
Hold on, you're not up. Al's up.
Oh, well, I thought he was just writing down something. All right.
Robert Parrish.
Correct.
What about Kenny Anderson, Liam?
Was he 90s?
Yeah, I think he was an all-stars in net. I don't think he was an all-star as a Celtic.
I don't see him.
Okay.
No, incorrect.
Jaylen Brown.
Correct.
Bill Russell.
Correct.
Who's he?
Correct.
How about Tommy Heinsohn, 70s.
Correct. These are 50s. 56, 57.
My bad. This is the last one here.
Gordon Hayward.
Ooh, I don't think so. Incorrect.
All right, so that's that
No.
round. How about Kyrie make it as a Celtic?
Yeah, Kyrie's on here. Horford's on here.
It's a bad miss.
And
Did I have my last pick?
yeah, you got 4 right.
Okay. What about Havlicek?
Yeah, Michale.
And Isaiah Thomas, little Isaiah Thomas at 1 year, or no?
Yeah, he's on here twice, 2 years.
All right, bust out Tommy Heinsohn.
Yeah, I
From
mean he's in the
50s.
50s, bro. Yeah, you got that.
All right, I'm still perfect through 5 rounds.
I told more.
Sometimes I'm okay with not winning games. Sometimes it's like you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, listen, when you lose every week, I guess you gotta be.
I'm okay with not knowing every single question.
Seltzer, you could lose one of these competitions, and I could put a poll on Instagram that says, "Who do you think won?" and you would still win the vote on Instagram.
Popularity contest. All right, Liam, who's next?
What's the score?
God. Al, you got 8, you got 22, you got 26, you got 30. I've got 10, 25, I got 36. Guest has 14, 18, 20, 24.
I think this is. I'm gonna do wasn't asked to do this, but I'm gonna do bonus. We're gonna do the Flyers. Guess you could win this one.
I might.
Dude, there's gonna be bust outs galore, whether or not they're all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All
This
right,
is a total bust out round.
all right. So I think I'm first for this one. Let's go with
Wait,
John-
all time or since 2000? All time, right?
all time.
You all time, yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Let's go with John LeClaire.
correct.
Let's go with Chemo Timonen.
Correct.
Let's go. You have to say it with your hockey accent too. We're gonna go Eric Lindros.
Correct.
How about that Eric Desjardins.
Correct.
Danny Briere.
Correct.
Claude Giroux.
Correct.
Ron Hextall at some point.
Uh-oh.
Correct.
I was gonna say there was a litany of goalies though back then. That was
Yeah,
a
but he was there like 3 different times.
risky pull. Jeff Carter.
Correct.
You guys are such hockey guys.
You were the hockey guy for a long time,
Yeah, I gave it up though.
playing in front of the household every day.
I played a ton of NHL. I can't remember what year it was, like 08 or 09. Loved that game.
Yeah. The hockey games are fun.
Yeah, they were.
Guest is up.
Yeah.
Oh, Michale Renberg.
Ah, man.
He's kind of recent, right? He'd be
No,
recent.
mid '90s, late '90s.
Legion of Doom, 98, 97.
He had to have made it at some point, didn't he?
Is Liam frozen?
No, I'm looking. I don't see him. Incorrect.
Wow. I'm glad you took him.
How about Keith Primo?
Correct.
Oh. How about Wayne Simmons?
Correct.
Simmer? How about that
He
Brian
like-
Prop?
What was that guessed?
Brian Prop. So that's like late 80s, 90s.
Correct.
How about? Wow, I just had a guy in my head. I just lost who. I forgot who it was.
Somebody's a hockey fan blowing loads right now. Finally, they're doing it.
Um, just had the guy, and I don't remember who it was. I'll just go obvious. I'll go Bobby Clark.
Correct.
Oh, I don't know if I should go obvious here. I'm not. I'll go Chris Pronger.
I remember
Oh.
what I was going to say.
I don't think that's correct.
What?
Yeah, incorrect.
You said who?
Wow.
Pronger, you said, Al?
Chris Pronger.
I don't know if he made it with the Flyers.
Sheesh.
How about that? How about that Rick Tocchet?
Early 2000s, right?
No.
Or
No.
80 or early
like
90s.
late
as
80s,
well.
late 80s to 90s.
Correct.
All right, that does it for the round. 4 for guest, 5 for me, 4 for
Oh.
Al. Couple of guys that came to mind late. Forsberg, is he an all-star?
That was my next guy.
And Recchi. I thought
No.
of Recchi after you said Tocchet.
Yeah.
Ernie Grant.
Gagne, Recchi,
Oh, Gagne.
Ronick.
Brindamore. Brindamore would make it.
I thought about him a lot. I don't think he made it.
He's on there.
Does
What
he?
about Hartnell down? Scotty Hartnell.
Hartnell's on here.
I'm saying, why would I take friggin'
Voracek,
I
Konechny,
gotta go with guess for the bust out with prop.
Czechmonic.
what about Booch?
I don't see him.
No,
Who's
but
next,
yeah.
Liam?
Kelly Lindbergh.
How many more do we have here?
Let's just do. We'll do 2 more teams, Liam. So pick
You want
2
football?
more. I know you did 10, but for time's sake, let's just do 2 more.
Okay. Let's do Pittsburgh Steelers.
I just went.
Oh, this is gonna be so.
3, 4, 5, 6. This is back to Al to start.
We're doing all time again.
I think we go from 2000 on. I would say, or let's go 1990s on.
All right. Just so guest can't take him. Jerome Bettis.
Correct.
All right. Troy Polamalu.
Correct.
James Harrison.
Correct.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Correct.
Heinz Ward.
Correct.
Alan Faneca.
Correct.
Antonio Holmes. Jesus, dude.
The football is a mess on the site for
Can you
this.
press like Control F and find?
He just quit. He walked out.
I don't know if Holmes is right.
Incorrect.
Oh, come on, Jesus, God, man.
The
How about-
Control F is a good way to do it.
How about Plexico Burris?
Incorrect.
Wow. How about if we're going receivers, Antonio Brown?
Correct.
Mike Wallace.
I don't know if that's right either.
Correct.
Cordell Stewart.
Good answer. 95-ish.
Correct.
Le'Veon Bell.
Correct.
Another very guest guy, Levon Kirkland.
Correct.
Joey Porter.
Good
Correct.
answer. Heath Miller.
Correct.
Lynn Swan.
We're not doing years, right? Anytime.
Oh,
Yeah.
So,
I think that was it. That was it, Al. We're good.
okay.
Do we all get that?
No, you missed one and Al missed one.
Oh yeah, the receivers. That's right.
Yeah. All right, one more, Liam.
what sport you guys want to do?
Do football since we've done a lot of baseball and basketball.
Okay. Indianapolis Colts.
All right, so we're going from 1990s on. And this is Chris starting.
All right, so I'll start with Manning.
Correct.
Okay. I'll go Andrew Luck.
Correct.
Marvin Harrison.
Correct.
Edgerrin James.
Correct.
Reggie Wayne.
Correct.
Dwight Freeney.
That was my next one.
Dwight Freeney, you said?
Mhm.
Correct.
Marshall Faulk.
Oh, damn it, guys.
Good answer.
Correct.
How about Dallas Clark?
Correct.
T.Y. Hilton.
Correct.
Jeff Saturday.
Yes. Son of a bitch.
Correct.
Might be it for me. I'm going to go out on a limb. How about Adam Vinatieri?
Correct.
Oh, well, I got a couple now. If he made it,
Here's another one, Al. Mike Vanderjagt.
Mike
Yeah,
Vanderjagt.
the idiot.
Mike
kicker.
Vanderjagt. I'm next. Guess.
Oh, sorry, okay. We're gonna be the same guy.
Correct.
Dude, he had a boot.
He was the extra point king in fantasy. He'd get you like
So
7
good.
points a week, all on extra points. I got one more, but
How
I'm
about Pat McAfee?
Correct.
Good one. That's a perfect score there for guest. And now it comes to this is for the entire game to be perfect.
Should have doubled my points.
Oh, I got one. How about Bob Sanders?
oh,
Correct.
That's a good one.
Brandon Stokely.
He had that one big year, but I don't think he was a Pro Bowler.
Incorrect.
I kept thinking, I was like, what was that white dude's name that was a receiver? I can remember his name.
All right. So that was it. You guys want to do one more or no?
Yeah, why not? I don't care.
All right, let's do
Yeah,
one
screw
more.
them. If they're not listening anymore at this point, then
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
What sport?
What do you want to do?
The hockey's the fun for the bust outs. That's the most fun one, but I don't know. Whatever you want to do. I don't care.
There's no way we could do another hockey team, though. We would just have to do the NHL in general.
All right, let's do football. I think football is the one with the most level playing field. Dude, I kept wanting to say Pat Falloon for the Flyers so bad.
Pat Falloon.
I wanted to mention RJ Umberger.
Oh. How about we just drafted Knubel's son, Cole Knubel.
Oh.
I think it was like a second or third round pick.
Is that the only way hockey's staying alive in on Earth? Just people, just through generations of people that have played.
Dale Howard Chuck.
Yeah. Who just won the cup? Whose kid was it?
Oh,
I don't even know what team won the cup.
Oh
Vegas.
no, on Florida. Whose kid is on Florida? That's really good.
Chuck.
Chuck, yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna do the Buccaneers.
That's a good one.
All right.
Who's
Who's
starting?
starting?
It's me here to start. Let's go with Warren Sapp.
Correct.
Hold on,
Let's go with Vita V.
your boy.
Correct.
Hold on. So what's the score though?
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
blowing you guys out. I'll tell you everything you guys at the end.
'Cause I was gonna, can I double the points again?
No, you doubled on the
Oh, you just do it
Phillies.
once? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then, all right, all balls to the wall now then. How about Joe Jurvicius?
as the first pick.
Mind you, I'm just doing bust outs.
Incorrect.
That was right.
No,
No.
Oh,
Correct.
incorrect. Back to me. I'll go Derek Brooks.
Correct.
How about Vita V?
You just said that, didn't you?
again.
Yeah.
I'll go with Rondé Barber.
Correct.
How about that Booger McFarland? Anthony Booger McFarland.
Not correct.
Is that no good?
No good.
I'll go Mike Evans.
Oh my god. Correct.
Here's a bust out. How about that Carnell Cadillac Williams?
Mm.
Oh, I like that. Not correct.
Oh,
All right, I guess I'll give y'all one legit. How about Mike Allstott?
That's a good one.
Correct.
John Lynch.
Correct.
did Vincent Jackson make it as a Buck?
Correct.
He had like 14 touchdowns for them that one year, didn't he?
Yeah, he was good.
Anybody say Brady?
No. All right, last time through.
Correct.
I'm gonna risk my perfect score here because I'm not 100% sure. How about that Joey Galloway?
Oh, my boy. I loved Joey Galloway.
Incorrect.
Oh, that hurts to finish it.
So Joey Galloway, when you had Simeon Rice on the board.
Correct.
What about Tristan Wirfs?
Correct.
All right.
What a football name that is. And there's no denying, like, there's no surprise that's a big man.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a big man.
No doubt.
I got out of breath just saying his name.
6, 18, all right, 20, 24, 29, and 33, 38, 40 points for guest. Al with 8, 22, 26, 30,
Who got the bust out? Al,
36.
Vincent Jackson.
40,
Yeah.
You know, or Tristan
44.
Wirfs?
49 for Al. And then I had 5, 10, 15. That's 10, 25, 30, 31, 36, 41, 46, 50. 50 for me.
We should just make
I had 49, you had 50?
Maybe I counted wrong.
That can't be right. That's definitely not right. But we messed up. We should have done a spread, not money line winner.
Should have done a spread.
We've done a spread.
Yeah.
We'll know that for next time.
I'm just recalculating.
We should just do a game show instead of a podcast.
43 for you, Al.
43. Was Dexter Jackson an All Pro for?
Super Bowl MVP. I don't know if he was a.
1 second.
What about Eric Rhett?
Dexter wasn't. How you spell that, Adam?
Rhett is RHETT. Early 90s running back.
Eric.
No.
Yeah, ERRICT.
Yeah.
Was it Ronnie Brown that was with Cadillac Williams? Who was
No.
He was with them at Auburn.
Yeah, they were together.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What about that Eric sleeping with the enemy?
He wasn't with the Bucks, I don't think.
Warwick Dunn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on here.
I'm sure Winston probably made it that year. He threw.
Oh, Keyshawn. We didn't say Keyshawn.
Keyshawn's a good one. Keyshawn definitely on there.
Did Brad Johnson sneak? Guys, we gotta end it. We gotta
Yeah.
Black,
we do have a
Black,
segment.
wait a minute. Black Johnson? Who'd you say?
Garcia's on here.
Some guy Black Johnson Al's asking for?
Yeah, I'm not wrong.
Black Johnson.
But I want
Brad
to
Johnson's on here.
thank Liam for coming on and hosting.
Is Dwayne the Rock
it was fun.
Johnson on there?
Make sure you check out the All-Star game tomorrow night if you have nothing better to do. Probably, you guys think baseball is probably the best All-Star game, the best of the worst?
No, I still watch the NBA more.
The NBA, still the NBA.
NBA was so bad this year.
It was, but it's still worth watching more than the baseball one. In my
My
opinion.
problem with baseball, I don't know any of these guys. They don't market any of these guys. I don't know any of them.
Now that the Phillies are better, though, you're probably a little more in tune with some of them.
I don't know Marcell Ozuna from Ronald Acuna.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I didn't know Lewis Robert Jr. and he's a #1 seed in the home run derby.
Jazz Chisholm in this thing?
Nah, he's hurt.
Forget it then. I'm out.
Fair enough.
Bill
We're gonna be
Goldberg
back.
on that list, Liam?
What's up?
Bill Goldberg on that list for anybody?
The Falcons. He was a Falcon.
Yeah.
Next time, we
Brock
could
Lesnar?
do some. We could throw in some WWE trivia next time I come on.
Liam,
Bring
you might,
Lucas
you
on.
might, you might be
Yeah.
on you might be on Jobber or a music artist. I'm just about done that.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, we
fan
got to do
favorite
that
segment.
soon. But again, thanks to Liam for coming out. We're gonna jump into segment 3. We're gonna start some football talk, boys. Training camp's right around the corner. CBS Sports put out their quarterback tiers. A little bit controversial when we discussed. So we ranked our own QB tiers, and we're going to discuss in segment 3. We'll be right back. Welcome back to segment 3. Next couple weeks, we're going to get into some serious football talk. We're going to do our division previews as we did last year. But there was a CBS article that came across Twitter or Threads, depending on what you're using these days. It was the tiers of the current NFL quarterbacks. And it caused some discussion within our thread, and we thought it might be a good idea to put together our quarterback tiers from 1 through 32. So we have them ranked in 8 different tiers. And how we're going to do this, boys, is this. We're going to start from the bottom, and we're going to go name one by one, just kind of similar to how we did in the All-Star game. And we're going to name our quarterbacks, for instance, in tier 8. And we'll go until somebody says close the tier. And once the tier is closed, you can't put anybody else in there. And we can debate along the way whether or not more names belong in that tier or not. But it should give us some interesting discussion along the way. Al, this was kind of your baby you put together. So why don't we go you, Chris, and then me? And why don't you get the ball rolling with tier 8 and let us know what you think is in tier number 8.
All right, tier 8 for me, bottom of the barrel, garbage. These are guys.
These guys are still 32 of the best quarterbacks in the world.
No, I disagree with that. I think there's guys down there that are not better than some of the backups in the league. They're just placeholders.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
So I'm going to go with who I believe is the worst quarterback, the worst starting quarterback in the NFL, and that's Sam Howell for the Washington Commanders. And we can
He's in my last tier also.
I actually liked him in college, but I have him in tier 8 as well. I don't foresee much.
And it always could change, but as of right now, what we're saying, that's where I agree.
Yep.
So now I have to give a guy my tier 8, right? Another guy.
Yep.
All right. So I broke it up by clothing line. So tier 8 is my Goodwill. All right. So I'm gonna go Desmond Ridder.
Yep. I have him as well.
I have him in there as well. So also in the garbage. So here's my question, Al. Do you close it after you name a guy, or do you close it before?
You have to close it before. You have to say, we're moving on to the next tier, and that's it.
Okay. So this pains me, and it's kind of messed up that you guys would do this to me, to leave me with one last guy in my tier, especially last year, as much as
It better
was
be you. I
on
think
him
it is.
as a comeback player of the year candidate. But I have Baker Mayfield in tier 8.
No, that's an L.
You don't have Baker in tier 8?
No.
Baker was terrible last year.
Now, wait a minute. Who?
He's on Tampa, Al.
Yeah, no, I know, but was he on?
No, he's
yeah,
on the Rams.
I just forgot to list him. All right, that's fine.
Yeah, he was on Carolina and
It
then
might
Tampa
be worse
for-
then. You didn't even put him on the list.
I was good. Well, that shows you how low I think of him.
Yeah, Al's got 16 quarterbacks ranked.
Half of them are from the
In
90s.
the insider.
16 quarterbacks and V to V, right? All right, you got Baker. So I have one more. In this tier, the Goodwill tier. I have Jordan Love in this tier.
Well, that's an L too.
Well, I can't support that. How
Why
can
not? He
you
stinks.
prove
How
it?
do you know that?
Yeah.
How many games did he play? 4 or 5? He stinks.
He gave us a little bit of trouble when he played it last year.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah,
You
I'm
think
more
he's-
bullish
Alright.
on Love than to call him garbage. I don't know about that.
I have another guy in tier 8 though.
All right, keep it going.
It's going to be on brand for me. That Brock Purdy.
I knew that.
oh,
was coming.
Jesus, guest.
How can you
Will.
call him garbage? That's
Dude,
so
Will.
irresponsible.
He was a third string quarterback.
He was like
He was
7
a third string
0.
quarter. His defense was great. He was a third string quarterback. Let's not forget that.
Yes, three touchdowns, 0 interceptions in the playoffs, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in the regular season.
Yeah, you're calling him garbage?
That's ridiculous, guest. Your San Fran hate is wild.
Yeah.
That's 8. 4 plus 4 is 8.
Wow. Well, so now
Listen,
it's
it's the definition of what I said with being goodwill tier. They went to the goodwill shop, they got something that worked out for them, and they kept it. That's exactly what goodwill is.
100,
right
107 QB rating.
Let's see how many games he starts this year. And
let's see how many guys we're about to name that you're going to have over Brock Purdy. It's going to be ridiculous.
All right. That's a tough look for the list.
That's bad, man. That's really bad.
Okay.
That's guests getting back at us for leaving Jalen Carter off of the top 10 most important Philly athletes. That's what that is.
Oh, yeah, it is actually. That's a good one. That is a good reminder.
All right, I'm closing tier 8. We're stretching it there with the garbage.
What are we gonna have, like the Olmec sound when he closed the tier?
All right, so tier 7. It's time to just go into the unknown. Which one do you want to pick? Let's go Bryce Young. Tier 7.
Okay. No issues there. I have a little higher, but we we'll maybe discuss a little bit if we have time how we did these tiers, because for the listeners, we didn't talk about this beforehand.
Clearly.
We didn't talk about like what each tier meant or anything.
No.
Right. So our personal reasons for these tiers. For tier 7, I'm going to throw Mac Jones in there.
You hate Mac Jones.
He stinks. He's another one that stinks.
He had a defensive coordinator be calling his plays.
Just wait.
I had him a tier higher.
It's terrible.
A
doughboy.
I'm gonna go. I have Baker in my tier 7.
We can't.
Yeah, we already named him.
So, okay, so then Kenny Pickett.
We're gonna Baker in every tier.
And by the way, this is the Foreman Mills bracket for me, the Foreman Mills tier. You go to Foreman Mills, you might get something to find, you might like it, might stick, you might throw it out by the time you get home. You don't know.
I don't know if I have Foreman Mills above Goodwill in the tiers of clothing. Goodwill, you might find a gem.
That's how Foreman Mills is, I think.
No,
nice little polo shirt.
Either the name is missing off the back or the number's missing off the front.
Well, the clothing variety is there more for the Foreman Mills. But Goodwill is more like, I feel like it's more like kid clothes.
Yeah, you're right about that. For the record, I have Kenny Pickett higher on my list.
Yeah, I have him a tier up as well. I'll continue my thread for tier 7. You're going to see some consistency. I have CJ Stroud in tier 7.
Yeah,
right. He'll be out of the league in a few years. I have Ryan Tannehill in tier 7.
Disrespectful.
No, it's not. He stinks too. What
he had no line last year.
I have him tier 6.
He's bad. He's a bad quarterback.
I'm gonna go with my boy Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I have him there. Closed tier.
You missed one.
No, we didn't miss any. We put too many guys in that tier.
Vita Vea is not.
I don't understand how. So wait, where did you guys have the rookies? Obviously, guess put Richardson. Where did you have Bryce Young and CJ Stroud?
So one of my tiers is guys that are kind of unknown but have a high ceiling, and that's where all my rookies are. Because they're
in the 7th tier.
But what number was that?
Tier 5 for me.
Okay, so you had it way up there. And again, it depends. Like, are you looking when you rank these? Are you looking just this year, or are you looking forward?
It's a little bit of like, what could they potentially their ceiling be this season?
Okay. Yeah, I looked just this year. That was my thought.
Yeah. I think their ceilings are higher than some of these guys we haven't named yet.
There's not like an Andrew Luck in this draft last year where like the guy is definitely going to be a star. We don't know if Stroud's going to be a star or anything.
Right, but what my argument is that Anthony Richardson, to me, if he puts it all together and has this amazing season, it's going to be more amazing than a Ryan Tannehill or a Mac Jones. That's how I looked at it.
Okay.
Yeah, but the floor is lower as well.
But the floor is well, not much lower than Mac Jones to me, or
I
Sam.
mean, we've seen Mac Jones be a competent NFL quarterback. We haven't seen that from Anthony Richardson.
He's in the playoffs.
Yeah, he's
That's a friendly word for Mac Jones.
Disrespecting Mac Jones, bro.
yeah. Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback for a number 1 seed.
He went to an AFC title game.
Ryan Tannehill had Derrick Henry for.
I understand, but he still has proven something in this league. All right,
I can't come into this having any of those rookies over Mac Jones.
agree. I agree with you, Chris.
Do you think Mac Jones' ceiling is higher than Richardson, Stroud, or Bryce?
No, not necessarily, but I don't think we've seen his ceiling either yet, though.
So you think then the rookie's floor is lower than Mac Jones?
Yeah, agree.
Yes,
Like it takes a while for those guys to. I can't say that Anthony Richardson's going to be better than Mac Jones this year.
Fair enough.
Right.
CJ Stroud's floor is much lower. I agree with CJ Stroud.
I mean, any take you have on Ohio State is complete crap.
I
biased.
I agree with Al. I'm not a big Stroud,
and that's fine. But Al, we have Joe Montana coming out of Ohio State now and say he sucks.
Well, but I mean, history. You talk about Embiid and his history. What's the history of Ohio State quarterbacks?
We talked about this. They have no one.
Troy Smith.
I hear you. That's a valid point. Unless you want to go Joe Burrow, who was technically a Ohio State recruit.
Craig Krenzel. Seltzer, big Craig Krenzel guy.
I did like Craig Krenzel.
Yeah, that guy was brilliant. He was like a molecular engineer or something like that.
All right, tier 6. So you guys, just for the record,
in my tier 6.
I have the following quarterbacks in tier 6 that have already been named: Purdy, Pickett, Love, Mac Jones, Tannehill. I only have 2 quarterbacks left in that group.
Wait, but you got Purdy in 6, and you're acting like I'm crazy for being an 8.
Yes, I have Purdy in tier 4.
But
Oh
8,
my
but
God.
8,
You take that. You got a 49er hat on. That's why you got it up behind your back like that, or behind your head like that. I mean, that's an SF on that hat, bro.
8 to me is garbage. 6 to me is needs a great team around him to be good. That's my tier 6.
That's my tier 4.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So that's my tier 6.
4 needs a great team.
Okay, so I'm curious to see how these rest of these play out. So I only have 2 guys left in this tier, but I'll go with Daniel Jones in tier 6.
I had him in 7.
All right.
Am I up? Yes, I'm up, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, down to Al.
I had Jones in 7. Tier 7 for me is my probably garbage tier.
Jones, Mac Jones or Daniel Jones?
Daniel Jones. Tier 6, I only have 2 guys in it, period, and we didn't name either of them. I'm going to take Kirk Cousins here.
Wow. You want to talk about ultimate disrespect. That's terrible.
Well, again, we have to talk about what we did because Kirk Cousins, to me, again, his ceiling is lower than the ceilings of those rookies, of some guys we haven't named yet, so I don't want to name them, but
When was the last time Kirk Cousins threw under 4,200 yards?
Yeah, dude.
he's pedestrian.
Kirk Cousins.
Pedestrian.
This is hilarious.
Kirk Cousins
Yes.
would take. So I have Cousins in tier 4, and for me, tier 4 is quarterbacks that are going to take you to the playoffs. Now they might not get you anywhere once you get there, but he'll get you there.
Guest, is your tier 4 Umbro?
No, so I'll tell you when we get to it, but it's not that though.
Is it
Guest.
Huh?
We should get a veto and veto, like if you make
Vita?
Vita.
the biggest Vita right now is Brock Purdy in the last tier. That's
Kirk Cousins at 6 is worse.
No.
That is, dude, I don't know, man. He's a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah.
Big Vikings guy, Guest.
All right, so my tier 6 is Walmart tier. All right, so you go there late night, you need something, or early morning, you need something, and you get out of there, but you still think you can do better otherwise, but you're in a crunch. Mac Jones, the not mentioned yet, Russell Wilson.
But don't say anything.
You got to name him. Are you saying Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The other ones have already been named.
Okay. So you're going with Wilson. Wilson was a curious case for me. I struggled. I put him in 5, which is like quarterbacks who have a lot of question marks, but I just think are better than the guys in tier 6. But I could easily put him in tier 6. Only reason I have bumped him up is because I think he may have had the worst coach in NFL history last year. And with Sean Payton this year, it's his last shot.
Yeah. I agree.
But I got no real issues with you putting Russ there. All right, I got another guy on tier 6 that I can't believe hasn't been named yet.
Obvious guy.
Yeah,
I know
Jimmy
you-
Garoppolo.
Jimmy G.
Yeah. Jimmy G needs a squad around him to be good. He's as average gets.
That's
And
again.
there's not much more to say about him, to be honest with you.
The guy, yeah, but you know what? He wins.
But
The
he's
guy
always had great
wins.
teams around him.
But he's been in the Super Bowl. But I'm saying though, the guy finds ways to win games.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. But again, I don't know. Could he do it with a lesser team around him? I don't think he could.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we are going to find out this year with that team.
What's interesting about the way we do this too is that now that there's a guy in this tier that I had higher, I think I'm going to take one of my guys and drop them down, if that makes sense, because I don't think they're better. It's Russell Wilson. I had Russell Wilson higher on my list.
How high?
So I had him in the 4th tier with Brock Purdy. So I have to take one of my 5th tier guys and drop him down because I don't think this guy's better than Russ. Does that make sense?
I guess, but it's kind of a cumulative list, so I don't know if you have to play it that way. But I hear you. But go ahead, let's hear it.
I'm going to put Kenny Pickett in this list.
He already got named.
When the hell did he get named?
I said
Guess put him in tier 7.
Oh, I didn't type him. My bad. I didn't type his name down. All right. Then you know what? I will.
But to be fair, Al, I had Pickett in this tier that we're talking now, 6.
Okay. Yeah, I'll close this then, and I'll start tier 5 with the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, Justin Fields.
Let's get into it. The Ohio State bias pops up again. Here we go.
Oh man.
What's he do for you? What's he look at his first passing last year.
So I had Fields in 4.
That's where I have him at.
And I just think that if you put a competent NFL team around him who gets you to the playoffs every year, he was very, very good last year, Al.
He was, especially the
And
second.
that team was terrible.
Dude, would he fumble the ball 17 times last year? He's a turnover machine.
He'll have to get that corrected, but he still ran for how many yards did he run for last year? Hold on.
He reminds me. He could be. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to have as big a year, but he could have a leap year like Hurts had.
He ran for
1,150 yards.
Yeah, he ran for 1,100 yards. How many touchdowns? I'm not taking any of that away from him. 8 touchdowns. That's going to come back down to earth, though, man. If you don't think teams are going to start game planning around that because they know that's all this kid has,
it should. But they put more weapons around him this year. They added DJ Moore, so the excuses as far as not having any weapons should be over. He'll get Mooney back for another year. You know, they did lose. Who was the running back there? Montgomery.
That's Montgomery.
Yeah, but they have Herbert's good. They added Dante Foreman. You know, it's a year where they finally put some more weapons around him. He needs to take it the next step, but I think he has that in him.
his bad throw percentage was about 20%. It's about 20% for his career. I can't imagine that's good. I'm not sitting here and comparing it to anybody just yet, but I can't imagine that's good.
Again,
Well,
I
agree with you, Seltzer. I have in 4. But I mean, we're not that. What are we talking about? Are we talking about 5 right now?
yeah.
Tier
But
five.
Al called him the most overrated quarterback in the league. I would have to disagree with that.
Yeah.
There is a most overrated quarterback in the league, and I will name him next if Chris doesn't.
Is he left-handed?
No, he's not.
Oh, mine is Tua Tagovailoa.
So you got him in tier 5?
Yeah, that's my target tier. So like you leave Target, you feel good about what you bought, but you know that there's better out there. That's kind of where this tier is.
What's Target's brand? I think it's called Goodfellow.
Good something, yeah. I think or good in something.
Good and plenty.
Al, where'd you have Tua?
Tier 4.
I had him in tier 4 as well. I just thought, besides getting his head slammed against the turf 65 times, he was actually really good last year, and I had a hard time putting him in a tier with these other guys.
But part of why I put him in 5 is because of that. I can't trust him that he'll be available all year.
I don't disagree.
That's fair. I just thought he was really, really good when he played this year. And I don't love any of these other quarterbacks in tier 5. I like him more than all of these guys. So, I mean, that's fine if you want to do it. I just think there's other fish to fry here. Let me give you the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, and he has been for 5 or 6 years at this point.
I know you're gonna say
It's Derek Carr.
Yeah, he's.
All right.
I thought you were
Career-
saying somebody else actually.
Career record 63 and 79. Just throws for yards because they're losing games every single year. Obviously on a new team this year in New Orleans, but I just don't see it with this guy. I mean, in this day and age in the NFL, since 2017, his touchdown passes 22, 19, 21, 27, 23, 24. There's consistency there, but sometimes I feel like he's looked at as a top 8 or top 9 quarterback in the league. And to me, he's at least in the bottom as far as 17, 18, as far as quarterbacks. I just don't see it with him. I don't know. I'm trying to see how many playoff games he started.
I think like 2 or something.
One. He started
Yeah.
one playoff game his entire
Mhm.
career. He's been in Oakland for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 seasons in the NFL. He started one playoff game.
You mentioned his record, though. He plays for arguably the most dysfunctional franchise in sports, not just in the NFL, in sports.
But the quarterback's job is to make the franchise stable. And he hasn't been able to do that.
And he had a great weapon last year too, and still.
He had Amari Cooper and Michael Crabtree for a while. Like he's a
they
Darren
drafted?
Waller.
Who was the kid they drafted that killed the guy? Ruggs the third.
Yeah,
And
Ruggs.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, this franchise is a complete disgrace. It's a complete mess.
So you're a Derek Carr guy.
And let me
He
tell
had
you,
Devontae Adams last year.
let me tell you this: Justin Fields' bad throw percentage, I just said, was 20% in his first 2 years. Derek Carr's was 11%.
Derek Carr's been in the league for 9 years and has done nothing.
He's in my fourth
on,
tier.
on the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders.
He's trash. The Raiders have been like they're middle of the road. They're not terrible. 7-9, 8-8, 6-9, 4-12. They're not a dumpster fire.
I don't hate Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is a much better quarterback on a better franchise, and we'll see. I mean, it's not like the Saints are anybody's bread and butter, but it's a better franchise.
If you went to Ohio State, you'd have him in tier 8.
Well, this is facts.
Well,
This is facts.
So we're still on 5, right? I got
You're
another
on
5.
5.
Yeah, I'm up. Guess. Stop.
I know. I'm just saying we're still on 5.
I gotta see here. So on my list, I have 5 closed, but I think I'm gonna have to
There's
add.
so many more trash
I
quarterbacks.
got
How do
like
you
3
have 5
more guys in
closed?
this tier.
Yeah, I can't close this yet now because of what we did. I gotta throw Deshaun Watson in this tier.
Yeah, he's in there for me.
I have him
I
at
gotta
4,
throw
and
him
I was struggling with him more than anybody.
I had him in 4 also, but what are you gonna do with Deshaun? You can't put him ahead of Derek Carr. I can't.
No, I can't.
Why not? He's better, way better than Derek Carr.
Really?
I mean, he's got a lot of baggage, but listen, I was big on Deshaun before everything happened. Deshaun Watson's had some really good seasons.
Yeah.
Way better than Derek Carr has.
So,
I can't say he's better than Tua. And remember, I'm talking this season.
I understand. Listen, I'm giving him a pass for what happened last year because he hadn't played football for a year and a half. The year before that, in 2020, he led the NFL in passing yards. He almost threw for 5,000 yards and 33 touchdowns. He's been to the playoff. He's only been in the league 5 years. He started 3 playoff games compared to Derek Carr 1. He almost went to the Super Bowl. Or no, was that the second round when they played the Chiefs and they were up like 24-7?
Yeah. I'll bet you some sort of wager. Derek Carr has a better season than Deshaun Watson.
What are we defining as their better season?
Just like yardage wise, touchdown interception ratio, whatever percentage of completions, whatever you want to do.
We can look into that and put a case of Mountain Dew on the line.
How about this, guest? I'll take Brock Purdy over any of the other.
I'll take that bet.
In
He
tier
might not even
8,
play.
7. I'll take Brock Purdy over Mac Jones.
Jesus. Dude, Brock might not play.
I
He
won't
might
take
not
him
even
over.
play a game.
All right.
He might seriously between the injury and between them still having Trey Lance around there and signing what's that dope we just got?
Well, yeah. Well,
Sam Darnold.
in that case, the bet is null and void. All bets are off.
Yeah. Good luck, gentlemen. I got the most overrated guy right here, Seltzer. Kyler Murray.
Yeah, he's on that. He's in tier 5, 100%.
That dude
sucks.
is criminally overrated.
100%.
I don't know how you can make the arguments you just made for Watson though, and then it's the same arguments against Kyler Murray.
Because I've seen Deshaun Watson be able to stand in the pocket and win a football game, throwing the football and running the football. To me, Kyler Murray's stats and skills are only when they're down by a bunch of points and he's playing street yard football and running around the pocket and trying to make plays with his legs and giving people extra time. I don't think he has the skill set to be able to stand in a pocket and win a football game. And whether that's because he's too small or he's just not mature enough or he doesn't have the intelligence.
I think it's all
I don't-
those.
What'd you say?
I think it's a combination of all those things.
And he doesn't work hard enough. Like I've seen Watson do it. Murray had one good season, and I think that the book is out on him now. You would see he got exposed in that playoff game. What did they lose by 40?
Yeah, they got smoked.
And you traded for him in fantasy.
By the Super Bowl champs.
He's not a terrible fantasy quarterback because again, those fourth quarter
Right,
garbage time points.
Right.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if Kyler Murray was not in the NFL in 3 years.
This is an interesting list.
Okay, so
Anybody? I still got another person in 5. If we,
I got 3 more guys in.
okay. All right, go ahead.
I know there's 2 guys here that could very well move up, so I'll skip them. But I think it's time to the air's almost out of the tire with Matt Stafford. I read a report that the Rams were secretly trying to trade him the last 2 weeks. I think he's a guy who may just physically be shot.
Well, that remains to be seen, maybe. But as of now, I have him actually in my 3rd tier.
He was really bad last year. Really
Yeah,
bad.
but he was also really hurt. Also,
I think that's just. I think he's got a lot of miles on the tire, and I think that it may have run his course. He's going to be 35 this year. You know, he had 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions last year. Year after the Super Bowl, I think that may have been the final nail in the coffin.
all I care about is I won the argument when I told you he was going to be a Hall of Famer.
But is he a Hall of Famer without the Super Bowl?
That don't matter. He has it.
Well, the argument at the time, that's not true. The argument
Would I be
we had at
hungry if
the
I didn't
time-
have a dinner? I don't know. Probably I would be.
No, but the argument at the time was, is Matt Stafford a Hall of Famer? We were having that argument before he won the Super Bowl.
Right. And I said because of his yardage and everything else that he had at that time, I thought he was. At the
Yeah.
time, he was like in the top 30 or whatever it was all time in yards.
Yeah, but the stats are so inflated now. It's like basketball. So I thought he was borderline. I thought the Super Bowl put him over the top. I just think he's toast at this point.
He's better than Eli Manning.
Eli Manning's got 2 Super Bowls.
But I'm saying though, like without the rings, he's better than Eli Manning without the rings.
Matt Stafford was a better quarterback than Eli Manning. Yes, I agree with that.
So he's better than a lot of guys that are in
Eli's got 2 Super Bowls, MVPs, including over the 17-0 Patriots. So like he's got.
Oh no, I'm not. That's a whole other argument in itself, Eli Manning. But I'm just saying that there's guys in the Hall of Fame that are not as good as Pat Stafford.
Did Stafford win MVP of that Super Bowl? Or was that Cup? I think Cup won that MVP.
Yeah, I have to go back and look. I forget.
I think it was Cup. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'll do
Al. It's up to Al. It's down to Al for tier 5 still.
Yeah, so like I'm not only out of tier 5, I've been out of tier 5 for a while. I'm almost out of tier 4 guys at this point. I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna go to tier 4.
All right.
And I'm gonna start tier 4 with Geno Smith.
That was one of my tier 5 guys I had left.
I actually have Geno in my 4th too. Now my 4 is the Coles tier. So that's like you got paid, you got a little extra bucks, you go get a little sweater. You know, what I mean, you feel good about it.
You got a Mark Anthony button down.
Yeah, you get a Mark Anthony button down. You got Coles cash in the bag.
Everybody has
Right,
Coles
you're
cash.
feeling all right. Like you don't know, there's better out there, but at the same time, there's a lot worse.
Why are we so bullish to Geno's done it once? Like, I'm not ready to hitch my wagon to Geno.
He was slinging it though, man.
He had a really good
good.
first half and kind of fell off a little bit.
I believe in Geno.
Why though?
Yes, or not Seltzer. There's a couple guys that are going to get ranked much higher that have only done it once.
I don't know about that on my list. But maybe guys, but the guys who have only done it once, Al, are not 32 years old.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Again, it's all because of the way this thing is shaken out here. I feel like But I got Gino. I would trust Gino more than I would trust, I'd say maybe probably half of those guys that we have in tier 5. So that's why I had to bump it up a tier.
Yeah, I mean,
Gino's got
he's probably in the top half of my tier 5 guys. Again, I still had him down there, but if I had to rank them, I have him and I have one other guy in tier 5 who was kind of borderline, and then there's kind of a like those are my better quarterbacks in tier 5. But I still, again, to me, tier 4 is if I have this guy as my quarterback, I'm going to the playoffs. And I don't see that from Geno Smith as I can't guarantee if Geno Smith's my quarterback that I'm definitely going to the playoffs.
I was thinking he went last year with him.
Yeah, I think, but he had a really good team, and the NFC was a little bit weak. I just think those guys I have above him.
But you're being a little bit disrespectful to the guy. He had a really good
year. I just need to see it again. If he does it again this year, I would have him higher.
I just want to say this: if you're listening to this segment and it's like a Friday night or you don't have work tomorrow, I need you to drink, grab a beer, grab a beverage, and I need you to drink every time you hear the word tier from now on. You're not going to remember the segment.
No, it's
Not at all.
pretty trashed.
I guess.
30, but real quick, 30 touchdowns last year, man.
Yeah,
30
and
touchdowns,
listen,
11 picks.
He could very well replicate it with the weapons with Lockett and
NFL
DK and my boy Jackson Smith and Gaia or
Jackson Smith, yeah,
4,000 yards, 70% completion percentage. He balled out last year.
Yeah,
Great year.
man.
Great year.
I've already had everybody in my tier 4 named at this point. I had Cousins, Geno, and Fields, and Derek Carr in my Coles tier.
You guys are prisoners of the moment, man. I can tell you that right now.
What do you mean?
There's a guy.
Fields.
All right, so are you closing? Are you closing?
I'm going to close tier. Yeah, I'll close tier.
Oh
4.
my god.
So it's just Geno Smith.
Geno's the only guy in Coles, dude. He's the only guy up in there getting the cash.
I can't post this. I can't put this.
He's the only guy getting the Coles cash.
I can't post this.
All right, so do I start off the tier 3?
Yeah, you start off tier 3.
Yeah. So this is my express tier. So like now we're going to the mall. All right, we're getting the short set, as Will Smith said in summertime. I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson.
Oh my god.
Ooh. So I had Lamar in tier 3, but I still got some guys out there that I had below him, but I have Lamar in tier 3. And I'm fine with that.
Oh wait, that's where I had him too. That's fine. That's okay. But there's going to be guys in this tier that are with him now that are not with him.
Agreed. Now,
Well, I mean,
and so let me name one of them who I have in tier 5. I can't put Geno Smith in tier 5 and say Geno's only done it one time and not have Jared Goff in
Yeah,
tier
Jared
5.
Goff is absolutely. I agree 100%.
oh man, Goff in 3?
I have him in
Goff
5,
in
but
two?
we're on 3. How come you didn't name him?
Yeah, why didn't you put him in 4?
I want to close it out. He's not a 4. He's a 5.
But 5 is close, so now he's in 3.
I wouldn't have put him in.
You put Geno in
out. He's out
Geno
the
in
club.
solitary confinement.
All right, let's do a veto. Like
You
Jared
go
Goff
into
is dropping.
Express. You go into Express with a pocket full of bread, and you gonna come out with Jared Goff?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I have him in 5, but we have to name him at some point. Like, we're
Yes.
going to wait till 1.
You screwed it up. You should have put him in 4.
All right. Well, what are we in the friggin' like? We'll just go back and do it then.
Edit it.
No, it's over. It's closed. It's closed. Once it's closed, it's closed.
I got the key right here.
Yeah,
Here's your keys.
Jared Goff to me was in there with Geno in tier 5. But now he's in tier 3, I guess.
Yeah.
Geno Smith is in there like Akon. Got locked up. They won't let me out.
I guess I misunderstood the rules.
All right. Well, I have to put tier 3. I have him lower. I have to put Aaron Rodgers in this tier.
He's in there for me too.
I've been 3. So go
How
ahead,
about-
guys.
How about that, Justin Herbert?
I have been 3.
I think it's all going to play out the way it should from here on,
So,
right?
so wait, so here's my question. Everybody below tier 3 has been named on my list except for one guy. And I mentioned to me 3 is very good quarterbacks, but still a couple question marks. And 4 is I can get you to the playoffs, but that's probably as far as I get you. And to me, Dak Prescott belongs in that tier more than he does with I'm a really good quarterback with just a couple questions. Again, my tier 3 guys, I think can get me to a Super Bowl if everything pans out correctly. I don't know if Dak can. I don't think he's proved it yet.
You
I think-
mentioned it a while back about comparing Dak to Joel Embiid, and I feel that way. Like I have to rate him based on a full body of work over a season versus just a playoff game. So that's why I have him in tier 3 for mine.
Yeah, I think Dak's like tier 3.5. Like he's going to be better than all the 4s, but he's not quite as good as all the 3s because of his transgressions in the playoffs.
Right.
But a guy that threw for 37 touchdowns, I mean, he's really good.
He's a
He's
nice-
very good.
yeah.
Like, again, I just got to look. I feel like when, again, Joel Embiid's perfect. When the moment is there for the taking, Dak doesn't want it. He'll
So you're
find a way to throw it away. He also, I think, did he lead the league in interceptions last year? He threw a ton of interceptions last year.
Last year, he threw 15.
Yeah, that's
And I don't know if he don't want it. I just don't think he can get it.
Well, I think same thing with Joel. I don't think like Joel doesn't want it. It's just
Yeah, I don't think he wakes up like I just say for me. I think he just can't get there.
I don't.
Dak's had weapons.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
Dak as the same level as Lamar or Rodgers or Herbert. I think he's a tier lower, but that's nor here nor there at this point.
I want to see this list on paper.
It's ugly. Guess it's ugly. All right, tier 3. I have one more guy in tier 3,
Yeah,
and it's Trevor Lawrence.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I got.
All right. So, guess you can either continue to add names here because I think there's a guy that you might be tempted to add if I'm being honest, or you can close it out.
No, I'm going to close this out.
All right. So then we know what the rest of the list has to be, right?
Yeah, so this is the tier 2 is the Ralph Lauren polo tier for me.
Not chaps.
Not chaps. No, this is the Ralph Lauren. As a wise man once said, it ain't Ralph though.
What's that from?
Kanye, when he had the Sway interview.
I
You
don't
remember
know.
you never saw that with Sway in the morning on Shade 45? It was a classic when he was like, you ain't got the answer, Sway. You ain't never saw that?
Oh no, maybe not.
Oh my
Ring the
God, you
bell.
gotta look that up when we get off here. It was like the best interview of like the last decade, dude. It was
I'll look
hilarious.
it up.
Vintage Kanye. Anyway, so where are we at? 2? Hurts.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, because I think everybody knows we're headed with this. Do you want to talk a little bit about why Hurts is 2 and not 1?
Only you mean for me or for Seltzer?
Or just in general, anybody.
I just have. I mean, we all have the same guy as number 1, and I think right now he's earned that spot by himself.
Yeah.
Even though Hurts was very close, and actually you could argue played better than he did in the Super Bowl, but Mahomes still got the ring out of it. So he's the guy that I think at this point, his body work already plus what he's still young. He's still in his prime. Like you might probably entering his prime the way QBs are playing now in their late 30s and 40s.
Yep.
Al, so can we just, we don't need to waste time. We can still have the general discussion. You have Mahomes at 1 by himself.
Yep. So I have Mahomes at 1.
Okay. So we all have Mahomes at 1, and then tier 2 is Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Joe Burrow.
I was wondering if Guess was going to be tempted to throw Allen in tier 3.
Yeah, I thought he might as well. But to me, to answer your question that you just asked to Chris, when I rank these tiers, it's almost like, can you argue Jalen Hurts is better than Joe Burrow? Sure, you can make that argument. Can you argue that Josh Allen's better than Jalen Hurts? Yeah, you can make that argument. Not saying it's right. I'm just saying you can make it. But if you get to the point where you're trying to argue that one of these guys is better than Patrick Mahomes, that's just not right.
Yeah.
Mahomes is clearly a step above all 3 of these guys. So to me, when you're putting a guy in a tier, you can always argue that somebody else in that tier is better. Again, you can make that case and make some sort of argument to that. I don't think you can make a valid case that any of these guys are better than Patrick Mahomes at this point.
If you had Hurts win the Super Bowl this year, would you have been more likely to have that argument?
I would probably still need to see it for one more season for him before. We've seen plenty of good quarterbacks lose Super Bowls. I still think Mahomes is a tier above him as a quarterback at this point. But if he won the Super Bowl last year and then went out and replicated this year, I think you could probably make that case.
Yes, I think if the Eagles won the Super Bowl and Hurts, he had a great game. He was
incredible game.
Yeah, if he won that game, I would put him up there. I think I would put him up there because I think you can then make that argument.
I'd be very tempted.
My whole thing is though, of these four quarterbacks, there's only one guy who could potentially end his career up there with Brady as the GOAT. You can't make that argument right now for Hurts, Burrow, or Allen, but you can make that argument for Patrick Mahomes.
The crazy thing about Mahomes is you feel like he's been there forever. He's only had 5 full seasons in Kansas City.
That's what I'm saying. He's still entering his prime, you could argue. I mean, he probably we may have not even seen the best of Mahomes yet. I mean, he hasn't even had like he had Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, but I mean like Hurts, Burrow, those guys have like two of the best duos receiver wise in the league, and Mahomes has never had that yet.
Mahomes lost his best receiver and just won
a ring
shootout with guys like Ian Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and like these are guys that in 5 years people aren't going to be able to name.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah.
So here's a question: which quarterback in tier 2 is the closest to jumping into tier 1? Sounds like you guys think it's Hurts.
I don't want to, coming from me, I guess it's funny to you guys, but I don't want to be the homer here. But I would say actually Burrow.
I agree. I
love Burrow.
If you switch teams, if you put Burrow in the Eagles, I think they still make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right.
Burrow's. I mean, and I love Hurts, but then if there was one other guy, I mean, obviously besides Mahomes, that I would want to have other than Hurts, it'd be Burrow.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're all on the same page. I think we would go Burrow, Hurts, Allen. I think all three of us would go that way.
But Allen, for me, to what you were saying, Allen is hanging on the with a hand on the cliff, dude. I think that guy is reaching overrated status. I really do. I'm sick of him every year at the end of the year. He comes up short a lot too.
You got the Joel Embiid and like the Mahomes. See, he did have that one game that you got to give him credit for where they took Kansas City to the wire, and
that was a great game.
That was not on Josh Allen.
No, but he also had a game where he was a joke against an inferior team last year at home and lost.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I mean, some weird shit with that Buffalo team last year when once the Hamlin stuff, they kind of just they pocketed. But you're right. He's got it. They went to one AFC championship. That was AFC championship against Kansas City, I think.
Was it?
Yeah, because they lost to Cincinnati. But Chris, I mean, look, last 3 years, 37 touchdowns passing, 36, 35, and then on the ground, another 8, 6, and 7.
Has his interceptions gone up every year last 3 years?
His interceptions 10, 15, 14.
Yeah, it just feels like he gets a little reckless sometimes.
He does. He goes up. He's a gunslinger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. And they haven't had a running game really that much.
They don't ever try to run the ball.
Right. So he's been even more of a gunslinger.
Yeah.
All right, Al, you want to run down these tiers as chaotic as this segment's been?
Let's run it down real quick. Guess, what was your tier 1 fashion label?
Oh, that was the Versace tier.
Okay. And then what was tier 2?
Tier 2 was the Ralph Lauren /
okay. All right.
Technically, number 1 was Versace / Gucci, but
Gucci. Yeah.
Gucci.
Balenciaga. All right. I'm going to go from top to bottom. I think it's going to be easier to you know what I mean, digest this if I go from the top to the bottom. So tier 1, we had Patrick Mahomes. Tier 2, we have Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Tier 3, we have Lamar Jackson, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence.
Can we please move Goff down?
You can't.
It's locked.
Rules is rules.
You guys didn't understand the game.
It's locked, bro.
Tier
you could have not picked them. You picked them in there.
It wouldn't pick him. He would have been in tier 1 eventually.
You would have been above Mahomes.
There. You could have scrapped it.
All right, finish it up.
If I had done this by myself, Baker Mayfield would have been included. Tier 4 is just Geno Smith. Tier 5 is Tier 5 is Justin Fields, Tua Tagovailoa, Derek Carr, Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, and Matt Stafford. Tier 6 is Daniel Jones, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, and Jimmy G. Tier 7 is Bryce Young, Mac Jones, Kenny Pickett, CJ Stroud, Ryan Tannehill, and Anthony Richardson. And tier 8 is Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, Baker Mayfield, Jordan Love, and Brock Purdy.
Brock.
To me, Brock Purdy is the most egregious of all of them.
Well,
I don't know, man.
no,
Cousins is pretty
it's
bad, dude. That's pretty bad.
it's
Cousins.
Jared Goff.
You know what's funny? Goff.
It's also Kirk Cousins at 6.
That's what I just said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Goff, though, is higher than he should be, more so than Purdy is lower than he should be? Like, you got
I have
Purdy
it all-
down there with Sam Howell.
I have them all 2 tiers off. I had Purdy at 6. I had Cousins at 4, and I had Goff at 5. So I had them all 2 tiers off of where they ended up being.
I had Purdy at 4.
If Sam Howell was on that 49er team at the right place at the right time instead of Brock Purdy, he'd have done the same thing.
Stop it, dude. Stop
What about Josh Johnson? He couldn't do it.
Well, Josh Johnson's had a starting caliber NFL quarterback.
Guess it's just picturing these guys wearing outfits from Express, and that's how he's ranking them.
The fashion guy. You know what I mean?
We're gonna have a ton more football segments as we move closer and closer to the fall. Maybe even start next week, but maybe we'll do some fantasy football stuff to get the ball rolling.
Maybe we rank clothing lines and use tier football players as tiers.
Patrick Mahomes.
Someone's gonna listen and be like, "Wait, this sounds familiar."
Yeah, it's going to be Saber. Saber's going to be all over it.
Now, episode 53. You guys clearly define this by the clothes.
On that note, let's drop that beat.